Greetings, Minister Enqi. How's everything? I hope you could hear me. My audio is fine.
There you go.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
It's been
good.
a long time since I saw you. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's good to see you. You're still on your health and wellness episodes. I like that. I like that.
Yes,
How's the
ma'am. Yes,
family
ma'am.
doing?
Everybody's doing good.
And you still look the same.
Well, my
Okay,
hair
that's
is.
good to hear. Yeah, I'm so happy to see your health and wellness numbers have grown since the last time we spoke when you came down here to South Florida and did the presentation in Florida City. You probably don't even remember that. That was probably back in what, 2016 or something,
Nah,
right?
that whole run in Florida like changed my life in a way. Just the way that yeah, that changed my life in a lot of ways. Like the way that I saw um people seeing me, the way that I saw people seeing
Exactly.
me. Um, it it impacted me like
It took you to another level.
well, it just made me more serious about, because I guess I had taken it for granted. I got to shout out one of my
Mm.
bros, Ben. One of my bros, Ben. A lot of people know him with the PRX. But him and his brother Schick really encouraged me to like take it more serious early on. But I didn't really, it was a kind of hobby of mine that just grew into, just like a plethora of information that created that gave me like a certain type of knowledge base to work for. Um,
Mhm.
but that it wasn't that big until I saw the impact, and and I saw how people were like when I had came down to Florida and people saw like Jimmy's mom was legally blind and now she got her driver's license back, she got her eyesight back. People looking at me like Jesus, like, oh shit,
Uh-oh.
this mom give sight to the blind. And I'm like, not exactly. That's not.
That's how it's supposed to be.
I'm like, that's not exactly what happened. They're
Yeah,
like,
but
that's exactly what happened. I'm like, I just, you know,
yeah, it
gave me.
happened. She had to put so melanin versus diabetes. What's that about? Because I know melanin and diabetes must not be a match, right? I'm sure that's not a match, is it?
Um,
Are you able to hear my sound?
no, I got something. I'm trying to find in my. I know I got like this jazz. Is that you playing the jazz?
Yeah,
Oh, turn your jazz down a little bit, just a little bit. I think that's making it's over fighting your mic. So your mic is breaking up a little bit, but the jazz is
oh,
like,
okay. So you hear that more than you hear me. Okay.
yeah.
So you thought you was playing some jazz.
Yeah, well, sometimes like YouTube will start, like if you have something playing, they'll just put on a commercial, and now the commercials like don't end unless you end it type of vibe. So I'm thinking like it just might be something.
Yeah.
I listen to lo-fi
Okay.
and
How
jazz
about
all day.
now?
No, it's good. It's perfect. It's good.
Right,
I listen to
right.
lo-fi and jazz all day. You know
You
what I'm
can hear
saying?
me better?
No, you sound
Yeah, I love lo-fi. I sure do.
yeah. So I listen to that in the
That's
background. So
good. I want to
how
make sure you can hear me.
no, definitely I can hear you good. Yeah. So I thought it was something like they had just put on
Okay.
for me. It sounds like something that I would be listening to.
Right.
Um,
Oh, you told me to play that one because you might like type,
yeah, yeah,
trumpet and the music that's going on in the background. I had a feeling you may like that. Yeah. That old Harlem style of jazz music.
It's funny. I was just talking about that. Like we had so many generations of ancestors that build up to giving us, like what we created, like in
Beautiful
terms of
jazz music.
well, not necessarily the music, but like the whole vibe. You know what I'm saying? But we lost a lot of those economic,
Okay.
and we kind of just wound up like in Harlem with our little free market kind of thing, and that we turned into a nationwide economic base where people were able to vend and woo woo whoop. And it just like when YouTube came along, it like totally knocked that all out. Like everybody that was a part of that whole, like the people now, they think that consciousness lives online. They don't realize that there's a whole universe where, like, from the time I'm 45, from the time I was a little boy, I was going to conscious events, making a few dollars. Shout out to rest in greatness, Miss Paulette. But Miss Paulette, and I don't know if people in New York remember this back in the days, the Scarf Lady. That was her name. She was a vendor, the Scarf Lady. You know what I'm saying? But if people remember the Scarf Lady, they will remember she always had like a little boy helping her fold the scarves and carry the boxes and whatever. Like that used to be me. So I always conscious
right.
around the like where people can make their money. Children of conscious adults got mingled, you know what I'm saying? So that created a certain socializing opportunity. Like this was a whole community thing that folded when people kind of traded in actual events or live streams, or having their own content that they put an event together. They film the content. Now they have their content. They might charge $10 video or $20 for their video. Either way, you decide what your price is because it's your content. You did your work. You control what you put in your content. Control the price for your content. Now you give it up to YouTube.
Right.
Watch it, and you don't even get 1 penny from it. You get like a fraction of a penny per view. And for that low amount of money, you have to turn over all control over content and what you might say or might not say. And for John Q. Public, that doesn't really matter as much as people who are like in the space of being a truther or researcher or in any sort of alternative community, especially health. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like something where we could just turn back and change it, but it's something that people need to look at, because in the want for more, we didn't realize what we had. We had literally built up an underground coast to coast. It was a whole country. It was actually not even coast to coast. It was international, because people was going back and forth to Canada and back and forth to the UK and to Europe doing lectures and shows and exchanging commerce.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I was traveling.
Even the Caribbean, they would do that same exchanging.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So I was going 4, 5, 6, sometimes cities a month, and I'm speaking. I know people that traveled all around the world.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the room, they just was vending. Going as vendors, going on, like almost going on tour as a vendor. Like you going city to city, state to state, sometimes country to country, and all of that we gave up overnight to panhandle for Cash App. Like, here's our content. Take all of our content, pay us nothing, and we'll just beg online. Like, please send me a Cash App. You know what I'm saying? So please send me a Cash App. Prime Minister Enqi, please.
Me a Cash App too.
That's
low frequency yoga.
The melanin jar. I got to shake the melanin. Like, hey, we need y'all to put a few dollars in the melanin jar.
Right. You put the
Yeah, it's a whole
So
universe of
you're in the Bronx right now, or you're in Chicago?
Detroit. In between
You're
the two.
you're in Detroit, okay.
But
So how
you
is
know,
the how are they receiving you in Detroit? Are they open to this natural health? Are they trying to get well? How is your spread out there?
that's a good question. I would say I would say I would say it's weird. You know what I'm saying?
Are they receptive?
But
Oh,
but
it's weird.
for real,
Okay.
I would say that they have received me like a prophet in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So and on a certain level in terms of respect,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like the city, you know what I'm saying? The people who are the main people, like the the who's who in the city, they know I'm in the city and they make sure that, hey, don't fuck with the doctor. He doing something. He doing something positive over there for the people. You know what I'm saying? So the right
Right,
people
right,
you need to
right.
check in with. I'm checked in with. You know what I'm saying? And so like but the whole city of Detroit really.
Exactly.
But the flip side to having a city like, because that's actually what I didn't stumble into Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I made a conscious decision to move to Detroit. And so the love from the people was already here
Hmm.
before I moved here. You know what I'm saying? But um, it's
Yes,
still,
yes.
um, yeah, it's still black folks, still Latinos. It's still like, we still uneducated wherever we at, whether we in Detroit, Chicago. And so
Right.
that's the problem, because the process of educating people is
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
no, but it's disrespectful. So that's the new thing now. It's been brought to my attention, so I have to now discuss it. But like the process of educating people is a disrespectful process. So as much as you're trying to help people, it's a very fine line between helping people too much and hurting their feelings, especially like if you're dealing with a subject that they hold close to heart, like maybe melanin for some people, or Dr. Sabi for some people, or
Or the
CMOS for
sandwich
people,
eating.
or the sandwich. Like it could be,
Hmm.
it could be that, uh, people.
They gotta have that pulled pork now, and you tell them they can't pull no more pork. You got a problem now.
Can you hit the share screen from your side over there?
Yeah, you can also do it from your end.
No, but once I hit it, you gotta hit it.
Oh, okay. I see. I have to let it show. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you got it.
Yes.
Okay, because I had did a few interviews, and with some controversial pieces, and you had just brought it to
Okay.
mind. No, you got it at the bottom next to where I'm at is another little screen, like another person. You got to bring them that screen in like a person, and then it's gonna pop up big on it.
Okay. Is it on Google? Do you have it on the Chrome? Or
No, it's at the bottom of the screen. Like when I joined, you see where I came in at. Like there's another screen, like
oh, right
another
next.
person running the show.
Yes,
Yeah.
I cancel that, and then
Bam. There you
yeah,
go.
I see it, but it's okay.
No,
There
you
we go.
have it.
I see
Put it back.
it. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
All
Oh, okay.
right.
Well, folks, by an accident. Sorry.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
All
All
right,
right.
there it is.
So yeah, and so some people they didn't understand, but I was explaining for one the quality of CMOS versus what people are currently buying. Like this is my stove right here in my kitchen where I was cooking some CMOS, and I put so much time and effort and energy into what I'm preparing. This really is an art form. The level I've taken it to, it can't really be compared to the stuff that
Yes.
people, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's a total insult. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
So is that the
this is
purple sea moss?
it is a type of purple sea moss, but I'll explain to you in a second. Like there's no such thing
Oh, it's
as
red.
purple sea moss. Hold on, no, we're gonna get to that in a second. But just for now, let's stick with our pork sandwiches.
Oh, because I be seeing people selling it all the time.
No.
Okay.
That right there all the time. We're gonna get to that in a second. But when you said the pulled pork,
Okay.
see, that's what I wanted to show people, because people don't realize that these meats that they buying, the meat have the same diseases as people. When you're dealing with these meats, you got to deal with these same diseases. So this video here shows a man, I believe, who had bought he bought some ribs, and when he got the ribs home, before he threw it in the oven, he found a tumor in the ribs and squished out the tumor, you know, the inside of the tumor before he cooked it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, but it just is a prime example that this is what's going on, and most people
There was a
honestly
tumor inside the ribs that he was.
Yeah, a tumor that he was about to eat, served his family, so he caught it and pulled out most of the cancer, and then he still made the food. But what I'm saying is, most people never even catch the tumor in the meat. They just eat it in the beef, eat it in the chicken, they eat it in the pork. They don't realize that the tumors and the cancer is in the food.
I think.
How you like that? You gonna like that? How you like that?
So you see what I'm saying? Like that's something that people don't even realize now. This right here is an example that I had to put, because again, there's a higher level of scrutiny that we place upon one another than what we place on every day. Meaning, because I'm Black and because we have so much self-doubt and self-hate and all kinds of, you know, I have a level of scrutiny that with Black folks that's through the roof, but they don't have that same level of scrutiny at the Chinese restaurant. They want to know not only what ingredients is in my herbs, but where did I get the herbs from? Did I grow the herb? What soil did I use? What sunlight shined upon the dirt when, like, but they go to the Chinese restaurant, they don't even ask no questions. They go to the Italian restaurant, they ask no questions. They get Aunt Jemima syrup. They don't read the ingredients. They go to a vegan restaurant. Even in the vegan restaurant, it's ratchet. They don't ask them what they're using to make the food. They don't, like, it's just, so you realize after a while, like, you know, even when people see certain things.
Where nigga is? That's my ex.
You wanna do something? And y'all better not be eating no food from these Chinese restaurants, bro. That's a whole cat in there, bro. I hope y'all see that. That is a whole cat. Vacuum in the vacuum seal bag, dog. I'm not eating no more Chinese food, bro.
Where nigga is?
What are you saying?
And y'all better not be eating no food from these Chinese restaurants, bro. That's a whole cat in there, bro. I hope y'all see that. That is a whole cat. Vacuum in the vacuum seal bag, dog. I'm not eating no more Chinese food, bro.
You know, so
that
but
right they've been making cats and rats. That's nothing new.
But you know, but people will go into these places and consume the food with no problem, and then when you bring them nutritious food, they don't really understand. Now, let me jump around here. this stuff here. See, this is what you're talking about right here. That's what you're talking about right here.
Yeah, I've seen people actually in the ocean. I've seen people actually in the ocean, in the Caribbean, or some other warm, and they're holding up the sea. That's like
yeah. See, the problem with that is, this
the
is
ocean
not,
that they stand in.
right. I got you. The problem with that is this is not Chondrus crispus and this is not Irish moss. So although this is purple, and although people might get it out of the, I mean, it's an algae, so of course it comes out of the ocean. There's over 120,000, like there's hundreds of thousands of types of algae in the ocean. So because it is a real algae doesn't make it Chondrus crispus.
Right.
And that's the main thing, is that Dr. Sebi discussed Chondrus crispus. And so because Dr. Sebi used Chondrus crispus, there's a lot of people pretending that they have Irish moss or Chondrus crispus. And then to confuse matters more, they're saying things like, they're associating purple sea moss again with Chondrus crispus, and all those things are just not, facts. So most of what you see out there being sold looks like this. It looks either purplish like this, or it looks yellowish like this, right? But these are all types of sea moss. None of these are Irish moss. None of these are Chondrus crispus. So although these can be nutritious and add value to your diet, these are not Chondrus crispus, so they don't have the same healing benefits. This is what Chondrus crispus looks like.
So how would you know that?
Look at it. Okay. Look what I'm showing you. This is what Chondrus crispus looks like. It don't look nothing like
it looks like seaweed.
Right, but it don't look nothing like this here that you see in the yellow. And it don't look nothing like this here, what you see in the purple. This is a completely different type
No, it
of
doesn't.
strain. Yeah.
It doesn't.
So, and that's the thing. Once you know what the real stuff look like, you can't even be fooled. And then you got to ask yourself the question, if I've been buying sea moss for years from a guy telling me that something that looked like this purple stuff or this yellow stuff is Dr. Sebi approved Chondrus crispus, or he been saying it's Irish moss, or whatever the case may be, how do I then look at him tomorrow? After I find out tonight that either he didn't know what he was selling me these years, or he knew what he was selling me and he was lying on purpose. One or the other. Either he didn't know and the person maybe that he was buying it from lied to him. Either way, you was something all these years, you didn't even know what it was. Or you knew exactly what you had, but you know that there's not as much of a financial demand for those other types of sea moss versus the Dr. Sebi approved, so you want to slap that label onto whatever it is that you got. You know what I'm saying? But no, you can't that's not how it works. Now, this right here is a specific type of strain. It's very high in arginine. So that's what Gracilaria is known for, being high in arginine. It can cause you to have outbreaks of shingles, herpes, pox viruses, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's high in arginine. So this is not something that you would want to consume like right now. Like, people shouldn't consume this in this type of climate the world is in now. Dr. Ali Muhammad recommends this type of sea moss along with a lot of other people out there, but this is not something that I recommend. Or Dr. Sebi. It's not Irish moss. It's not Chondrus crispus. So there's a lot of people right now that's upset about this because there's people that got like all this fake stuff in their store right now, and they've been running with the lies for so long. They don't know what to do when people bring them this truth besides attack Dr. Enqi. Like, that's what they got to do, because there's the only way out. Like, they literally been selling people the wrong sea moss for 10, 15, 20 years. When somebody come in there and say, look, man, this ain't no Irish moss, bro. Why you telling me? They got to go, where you get that from? Look, that guy, he got gold teeth. He got blonde hair. He can't even really know. Like, they got to take you somewhere besides the validity of the information.
Yeah.
Because then it gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, so that people can learn.
So you're saying that the.
Go ahead.
So you're saying that the product that they've ordered this bulk of sea moss, that's not really sea moss. It's some type of seaweed, right? But it's not a sea moss. Is that what it is? It's more like a seaweed, particular type of seaweed?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's not Chondrus crispus. There's hundreds of thousands of types of sea moss. But I'm saying there's only one specific that is Chondrus crispus. Now, of the hundreds of thousands of types of algae that we call sea moss, they all have well, first of all, most of them are not even like stuff that we eat. They're not all edible. It's only like a dozen or so that we eat. So I call those street algae. You know what I'm saying? So that way, we're not talking about 100,000 different things. We're only talking about the handful that they sell in health food stores, online, etc., etc. Of those, right? You got your gracilarias, your chlorellas, your spirulinas, your bladderax, you got your different types of algae, your kelps, all of that kind of stuff. They all have different properties. They all do different things in your body. So it's not to say that any of these are not nutritious, don't have potential, like I said, to add benefit to your diet. But they're not Chondrus crispus.
Yes.
Chondrus crispus is a very, very specific algae. And the reason it is particularly useful is because it helps our body to build pigments. And we have a particular affliction with diabetes, and diabetes centers around our body being able to convert glucose to ATP for energy. At least that's what people are popularly under the idea of. And ATP, that energy unit, is phosphorus base, is a phosphorus based molecule, and Chondrus crispus just happens to be the richest source of phosphorus in the ocean. And phosphorus is like a super, super valuable nutrient. Like, it's literally not even enough phosphorus on Earth for all of the life forms to live. Like the people on Earth, whether it's 7 billion, 8 billion, we would not be able to survive if we didn't have the mitochondria constantly recycling our phosphorus for us. That's what the mitochondria are doing. They're recycling the phosphorus because we need our body weight in phosphorus every day. And that doesn't exist on the planet.
Right.
So Chondrus crispus, anyway, is particularly adept at that. And then to build up your bone marrow, which is the source of your T cells, your B cells, and your antibodies, which also in this timely era is something that we need. So Chondrus crispus is specific. And like I said, Dr. Sebi gave his life to the business, so he created a lane, and you got a lot of people just jumping out there trying to fill that lane. Even his own relatives, like his grandson, jumping out there talking about his sea moss got 144 minerals and all that. That's fake. It's no such thing as a sea moss that has 100 or even 92. Like, none of that's real. Like, all of that's not actual science. So again,
so then what is mineral count?
I'll get to it. We'll depend on how much time we got. We can go through all this info. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much time we got, but yeah. So we'll get through.
Well, it's up to you how much time you have.
I don't. All right.
It's up to how much time, Enqi.
All right.
This is your show.
Yeah, we're gonna work. So we're gonna see how.
I don't think you believe me. I don't think you believe me when I say that. You're not believing me when I say it, but you'll see when you're on here for 4 hours and your mouth is dry and you're like, I ran out of slides. I have nothing else to say. And I'm like, okay, well, I got some more questions to ask.
Yeah, she'll do that.
I might run out of slides.
Okay, David, what happened?
No. Only
You'll
because
do that.
No, only because we might get to a space where like it might be too much, like we just might have, but because I literally have 1,100 slides prepared. Like I'm gonna do on September 10th and 11th, I'm doing a 2-day marathon. So I have 1,100 slides of this. So
oh, wow. Wait a minute. Yeah. So are you available tomorrow? Because we can do part 2. If you're available tomorrow, we can also do a part 2. If you think that it's too much to, condense in one night.
I'm doing the 1,100, that's an event. So I can't do the 1,100 before then, you know what I'm saying? But,
no, I understand. I heard that part. But I was asking for tomorrow. Are you available tomorrow? Just outside of the September thing.
I'm not sure, but if not, we could schedule Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like we could definitely keep it running back, so we could go. We could get as deep as possible. You know what I'm saying? We could definitely Jack Cousteau it. You know what I'm saying? I'm down for that. I don't know what I look like tomorrow though. Knowledge.
So you just let me.
Yeah, knowledge. No, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Do the Knowledge Radio. He know if I'm free tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I wouldn't mind coming back tomorrow though, and going in and coming back.
So tell Knowledge. So tell Knowledge to send me an email if you're available tomorrow at 8:30.
Yeah, but if not,
matter of fact, I'm going to send him a message. So if not, then we can try. How does Sunday look for you, or Monday?
I'm not sure. Knowledge run my life. That's an entendre too, pun intended.
You told me that. I'll keep in touch with Knowledge. I'll keep in touch with Knowledge on that and finish talking about the CMOS. So I was asking, so you said that it's such thing as 144 minerals in the CMOS.
No, look, you got to put the gear shift in now. Once I know we got time, you got to save your questions to the end, because your questions probably gonna come up somewhere in here. Somewhere in these 50 slides.
Right, no problem.
Right.
And then whatever I don't catch, you know what I'm saying, then you could because a lot of that we're gonna walk through, you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna go through the ups, the downs, the lows, and then by then I'm sure you'll have 100 questions. So I guess we'll start.
So we have David on the live. I just wanted to make an introduction. We have David on the live stream with us. He's from Detroit, but he lives in Texas.
Peace.
Oh yeah. Texas, they got a little water down there. They got the Gulf Coast down there.
They can have it.
Yeah. Well, no, we're gonna show the coast too, because that's like a whole thing. So it's a whole bunch associated with the CMOS and the whole deal. So we got a guy from Peru, and the brother from Peru, he promotes that he has Peruvian Chondrus crispus. And I hear you what you said.
Okay.
Yeah, he promotes that he has Peruvian.
Oh, I said, so is it real?
No, there's Peruvian Chondrus crispus doesn't exist. It doesn't exist on Earth. It's not a thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so much out there, and what happens is people
That's sad.
The consumers don't know any better. So when I come out of nowhere after, I don't know, because some people been out there, you got some people that been vegan longer than I've been alive. Some people been drinking sea moss longer than I've been alive. I know because I've been drinking sea moss longer than some people been alive. I've been drinking sea moss since I was like 5, 6 years old, you know, a little kid in my, you know, having the dreads, you know, anyway. So you got people been drinking sea moss or whatever for 40, 50 years. All of a sudden I come out of nowhere and I'm like, yo, this is not right. This is not right. They don't know how to cook it. They don't know what they're buying. They don't know what they're selling. This the wrong price, the wrong this, that, the other. People just see the conflict because when I start to speak about it, immediately all of the people who have sea moss businesses, they afflicted. You know what I'm saying? And they upset. So they go to attacking my credibility somehow, and so they'll look for an online rumor that they can magnify and go, oh yeah, we heard 20 years ago Enqi had some water that stop it. You know what I'm saying? But
oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, because they got to have something to excuse.
That's a shame.
20 years or 30
Such
years.
A shame.
Right now, there's somebody that's going to be watching this video that's going to wake up tomorrow. They're going right to the juice bar in their neighborhood. Listen, they're going to watch this video and they're going to go right to their juice bar first thing in the morning and go, hey, let me get some Irish moss. And the person is getting ready to go dip into a bucket and put some of this into their drink. And they get ready to have a whole fight. Like, yo, that's not what I asked for. That's not what I'm paying for. Where's the Irish moss? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're gonna be like, yo, I've been selling you this every day. They're gonna be like, yeah, I know you've been selling me that every day. That's the problem. I want my money back because that's not Irish moss. You owe me for 5, 10 years worth of selling me whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it gets crazy.
Let me do a question. So me that you mean to tell me that people let me ask you a question real quick before you go farther. You mean to tell me that you have health stores or non-health stores that are selling this so-called type of sea moss, and when you try to bring light to them that they're not actually selling the right kind of sea moss, instead of them taking your information and doing further research because they don't want to be misleading the community and misleading their customers, making them believe that they're eating or drinking a certain type of sea moss, that rather bash you and attack you versus doing the right thing by their customers. It's a more here that I'm getting at. So morally speaking, I'd rather throw Dr. Enqi under the bus than to step into my morality and just do the right thing and contact those.
They hit in reverse too. They not just throwing me under the bus. When they ride over me, they hit in the reverse and making sure they bump.
Wow.
That's funny.
Ridiculous. That's sad and it's ridiculous. They rather do you opposed into these companies that sold them the wrong type of sea moss in the first place. They need to be contacting their supplier and letting their supplier know that they are aware now that they're not buying what they're paying for. And now we need to have a conversation. Absolutely. It's not about you. It's about you bringing some light to business.
Well, here's the thing.
This way their customers are getting what they're paying for and their health is.
No, but wait, let me stop you. Here's the problem. It's 3 problems, but it's one main problem, and the other 2 problems is doubly because of the main problem. So it's 3 problems, 1 main problem, 2 secondary, tertiary kind of, side problems, but they just there, So the main problem, people are offended by my blatant blackness, excellence, and intelligence, and the fact that I'm unapologetic about being smarter than most of the people I talk to. I shouldn't have to be like, like
Well,
wherever
then
you
that's
work, whatever you work hard on, I feel like you should be able to flash that. You know what I'm saying? LeBron dunked from the foul line because he worked in the gym every day on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just what I spent 30 years studying 10, 12 hours a day on. You know what I'm saying? So it just so happens like you people that Johnny come lately, you can't catch me with this, because when you partying, I'm on this. When you sleep, I'm on this. When you having sex with your girl, I'm on this. When you making dinner for your family, I'm on this. When you talking about nationality, I'm on this. When you talking about ancient history, I'm on this. When you arguing about Big Bird, I'm on this. Like, people know from the time they see Dr. Enqi till now, I'm on this. In fact, before there was a YouTube, the people that know me in the private world, they know I was driving motherfuckers crazy, just period, at lunch or at dinner. Like, yo, do you know what that's made out? Like this been me. You know what I'm saying? So, the problem is
right.
and it's the main problem. They don't like me. The second and the third, like the secondary and tertiary problems become worse, magnified by the first. You can't get the information nowhere else. There's not another person that can give you this information. Now, there are other brothers that can listen to me deliver the research, and then they can regurgitate it because they can understand it and they can re-say it. But unless you're actually the person on the front line doing the research, you can't get the information. So there is no other place for them to get the information. And the way I prepare my sea moss gel, the problem is there is no other place for them to get the correct sea moss gel. So that's the problem. It's not like these people that been selling them the yellow, dead, fake, they've been selling them the wrong stuff all this time. It's not like they could just go under the counter and give them the right one. It's not like they could go online wholesale and now they have the right one to have. I alone have the Blue Magic Sea Moss Gel. So literally, there's no other place on earth to get it. So when I tell people about what's actually going on,
okay, so then what's the problem?
Wait, they mad as hell.
What's the problem with them just getting it from you?
That's too.
I don't get it. You can just order it from you.
They unhappy with that. You know what I'm saying? There's already a lot of people ordering it from me, and because of that, people have to wait. They don't get that this is a handmade, perishable good. They think that I can make 1,000 jars of sea moss and have them shits waiting in my house on the shelf, so that when you order, I could just ship it out immediately. They don't get. When you order, you go in line, and once you go in line, when I get to your order, I have to make your shit fresh. Your sea moss comes out of the pot like this. Your sea moss is in this pot. Where you at, pot? Come on back here, pot. This is your sea moss in the pot right here. I make this fresh and put you in a jar, then put you in the freezer overnight, so you have a nice little chill on you when I ship it out to you in the mail. Bang. So by the time you get it, it should be like a bluish greenish color. You know what I'm saying? Because what you see inside my pot right here is two things. It's my sea moss gel mixture, and then it's my lichen gel mixture. So that's the first thing. It's two gels that I mix into one. The lichen has the vitamin, the vegan vitamin D3. So that's how I bring the vitamin D3 in, because algae don't really have a lot of D3. So you're not getting D3. So I get a special type of lichen. I make a gel out of that. Then when I make my sea moss gel, I put the two together. So the light color that you see there, that's the lichen gel. And then the dark color you see is my blend of sea moss. So my point though is people are super mad because it's about money for these people. That's the thing that people don't understand, is that most of these holistic healers, especially when it comes to sea moss nowadays, they're not really healers. They're saying that they're a healer again because Dr. Sebi created a lane. So they feel like in order to tap into that money, they got to call themselves a healer. But most of them are actually online herbal salesmen. There's a difference. Not saying one is more honorable than the other. I'm just saying there's a difference. A healer is somebody that meets up with another person. They make an arrangement for the person to lock in with them until their illness is reversed. That's not necessarily an online herbal salesman. An online herbal salesman just has products that they may explain and sell. If you use them, if they work, that's cool. If not, that's also cool. They don't really give a fuck. They just wanted to sell it. So with the sea moss, you got a lot of people coming into it that way, marketing sea moss like it's marijuana. They coming in like, yo, I got pounds of sea moss, so I'm buying pounds for $50, so I'm selling pounds for $100. Like, and they don't even really know, first of all, that the term sea moss is not even a thing. Irish moss is not a thing. Those are general statements that cover a whole wide. So that's not a thing. Like, you can't say, like, if a person says to me, yo, I got some purple sea moss. I'm like, what do you mean purple sea moss? I got the purple sea moss. I'm like, what do you mean the purple sea moss? Because you could have purple gracilaria.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Right. And you could have purple gracilaria, which is what we're showing here. Let me show you the gracilaria. So that's like somebody saying, I got purple sneakers. That's not really a real thing. Do you got purple Nikes, or those are purple Reeboks, or those are purple ponies, or do you got purple sneakers from Payless, or you got Barney sneakers on? Do you got purple Gucci's on? Like, saying you got purple sneakers, they tell me nothing. I need to know some details. Like, are those sneakers that we could wear to the basketball gym, or those sneakers that you could put on with a suit? Like, what kind of sneak? So algae is the same way. When you say sea moss, the only thing you really communicate is where it grows. Sea moss means hot water, warm water. So that's Caribbean, that's equatorial region. When you say Irish moss, that means polar, that's cold region. So sea moss is warm water algae. Irish moss is cold water algae. So that's the first thing right there. A lot of these
So is
people,
the cold water algae more potent, or the sea moss is more potent? Which one would be more potent, the Irish moss or the sea moss? I like Irish moss too.
it just depends on what, again, you're using it for. Like, just going back to example, gracilaria is very potent for helping people, fight certain bacteria. You know what I'm saying? I used to champion cotton as one of my favorite sea mosses because it's so, I don't want to say cheap, but it's so family friendly, meaning you can take $1 of, like, for instance, let me show you this. And this also goes to the product conversation. Let me go to the product conversation. And shout out to the brother Haha Davis. Haha Davis wound up being my model for all these conversations now. Because he's in the he's in the documentary.
Actually, someone in the chat named Shepsu Haru is a brother. Oh, that's the brother from last night. Look at that. He said, I have purchased a pound of sea moss from Dr. Enqi before.
Let me show you this here. So,
okay, I'll just back up on the screen.
This here is what people know of popularly as sea moss gel. This yellow right here, right? Now, this yellow comes from, like, this type of sea moss right here that we're talking about. That type of gel comes from that type of sea moss usually, right? Now, it will cost me $1 of guso or cotton to make a 16-ounce jar of gel. So now, if I'm a customer and I'm used to buying jars of sea moss gel like that for $20, if somebody comes along with that other jar, like you see what he got in his left hand, and all of a sudden that jar might be $30 or $40, whatever it is, it's more than the yellow. Automatically, I'm gonna feel like as a consumer,
right,
trying to get over on me because I've been buying sea moss from you for 5 years at $20 a jar. Now you saying it's 40 all of a sudden. You know the customer feels away. The customer doesn't understand that yellow jar only what's inside that yellow jar costs less than the actual yellow jar. The glass and the top, the glass at the top costs more than what's in the jar. You know what I'm saying? Because it's less than $1 worth of algae it takes. Because when you cook it, it blows up so thick. So it takes less than $1 to make that 16-ounce jar. So the guy selling it to you for 20, he's still making a killing on you because he's selling you the price at 20 times the markup. Versus somebody selling you that blue jar that he got in his other hand, that takes about $20 worth of ingredients to make. So if somebody turns around and sells you that for $40, they just doubled their money. If they was to sell you that blue one at the same markup, you would pay $1,000 for it. And it's just that much more nutrition is in it than the yellow one. But again, people it's just so many levels to how uneducated we was about the sea moss. You know what I'm saying? And for me, a lot of it was mind blowing. And I realized that I might geek out a little bit more on the shit than John Q Public, because when I was little, my mom's had, she had a couple of sucker boyfriends, but she had one Jamaican that I kind of liked him. You know what I'm saying? He was, him and his brother E. They was kind of like, wow.
What do you mean? Why you say you kind of like him? What made you kind of like him?
Well, just how they move, you know what I'm saying? But they introduced me early on to sea moss, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know that it would be a big thing in my life later on, but at the time they was coming in the house, they'd be mad deep, cook up and blend up, you know what I'm saying? So they would cook, they would boil up the moss for hours and hours and hours. And then they would just blend it literally with anything. All of the care and the time they put to boiling the algae. Once they had the algae boiled, it literally went in the blender with anything. I seen them put fish in the blender. I seen them put food goes in, anything to blend up with the Irish moss, you know what I'm saying? And be drunk down, you know what I'm saying? The care, they took a lot of time. And the boiling of the Irish moss, and then even the seasoning. I it's so deep to the Irish, to the moss period and the gels, people just not there. But I watched them season it and take herbs and bleed herbs into the gel and just so much. And this is as a kid, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so fast forward, coming up like that, I always bought sea moss for myself, for my family, whatever. And all of the years, I always bought like that, dumb. When I get somewhere, I'm looking at the price, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you will come across, if you hit the Korean spot or a Chinese spot or something like that, you will see some shit that's above your pay grade and you'll back up off of it. Some hijiki or some, you'll hear some other names of different algae, and you'd be like, oh, that's a little too fancy for me. Let me just get my little sea moss right here and go about my business. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize all the time I was getting ripped off. So a lot of times people take my passion for arrogance. They take the fact that I'm these goofy I'm going off to denigrate or disrespect other potential Black folks, entrepreneurs, mothers, fathers, people. But it's not that. It's I'm passionate because I love the subject, but then also I'm enraged, nigga, because I've been ripped off and beat for a long time myself. You know what I'm saying? So, and then to see the depths of it
Right.
It's just, you know, so all of the different levels, you know what I'm saying? So we'll constantly keep cycling around to different things, and we'll keep coming back to this as we get more understanding. But even to take it to this level, you know, people, this was a big issue right here. A lot of people was promoting raw, you know, raw sea moss, you know, and a lot of people still got tutorials and they looking super goofy. They got to take that shit down, but they don't want to take it down. You see what I'm saying? Like, people done built businesses. They bought houses, cars. People done put kids through college selling the wrong sea moss to people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this shit is crazy. And sea moss has such a legendary
yeah, I understand, but at the same time, I understand that you still got to have morality when it comes to business still.
No, absolutely, but it's ingrained, you know, in them because people been like doing it for so long, and the sea moss is so legendary that if you're getting sick from consuming the sea moss, like all these guys telling people to drink sea moss raw, right? So you getting sick from the sea moss. Guess what? Because sea moss is so legendary in status, you never gonna blame those stomach pains on the sea moss you drinking. You're gonna blame those stomach cramps on the new person you start having sex with, on the fast food that you knew you should have stopped buying, but you just got one more McDonald's this last time, like the drink you shared with your cousin in a long time. Their lips was on it, your lips was on. Like, your mind gonna be paranoid into so many directions, but you're never going to ever once second guess, man, is it the sea moss that's fucking my stomach up all this time? Is it the sea moss that has me constipated? Is it the sea moss causing me to have leaky gut syndrome?
Right.
Is it the sea moss that's stripping away all my gut bacteria? And the answer for a lot of people is yes, because they've been following goofy people online telling them to consume sea moss raw. Dr. Sebi didn't do no raw sea moss, and none of the dreads and Rastas and the Jamaicans back in the day, like, there was no raw sea moss. Everybody boiled up the sea moss, and then you blend it up after you boil it up. You blend it up, you boil it up, you make your gel, and then your gel is how you store it. Whether you put it in the freezer, the fridge, whatever, you do that as a gel, and then you use it as you scoop the gel. Like,
right.
Benefit is to the benefit is to the person selling the sea moss, though, because what happens is this. For instance, like that cotton, the Ukuma cottonide, that one you can stretch the furthest. So that one winds up being a really popular along with Guso, because you could take $1 and stretch it into like 16 ounces, maybe even 20 ounces if your whip game is good. Because I could take $1 worth of that sea moss and make like 20, 24 ounces. Like, my whip game is good. I'm serious with it. But on average, you should be able to get 12 to 16 ounces out of $1 worth of that. When you do that, that's a profit margin that people, you know, you can't just take that off the table. But when you start telling people to consume it raw, they never have that ability to stretch out their moss for any amount of value. So they have to re-up and keep buying, you know, sea moss, big pounds and bags of sea moss every week, as opposed to buying sea moss one time that might last a family a whole month. So not only is people not getting health benefits from it, but it's costing them 3 or 4 times as much as money as it should cost them. You know what I'm saying? Because all sea mosses have some form or some ability to, at least the ones that we consume regularly, to gel up and bulk up. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that don't, we usually combine with others. So you always are going to get more than whatever your money is in terms of whatever you know. So if we have 16 ounces of gel, like Blue Magic, that cost us $20 to make. You got a value there. If you're getting that 16 ounces of that yellow stuff, chances are it might have cost them 75 cents to make that. And anyway, it's not, you know, so we got that. right? But you cannot
Right,
eat it raw.
right.
I'm saying I just can't say that enough. You cannot eat it raw. You know, the whole idea of the fiber that's in it. It's like having raw tree bark. Raw tree bark will tear your stomach lining up. But there's certain tree barks that you can use medicinally. You just have to know to prepare them. You know what I'm saying? Sea moss is no different. You have to know how to prepare it. And that's where the confusion comes out, where you see certain articles where they're saying carrageenan, which is an extract from Irish moss, is dangerous. Yeah, when not prepared properly, right? So when you prepare it properly by heating it, by cooking it, by breaking it down so that it's gentle on the bowels and the body, it's something that's beneficial to the, it's beneficial. When you do it raw, that's when you have the chance to, cause colitis or IBS or a whole host of other issues, because people don't even really get into the full understanding of what you're supposed to do with these algae, because they don't even really know what they're made of, right? So that's a whole nother thing. When you hear somebody talking about mineral count, that means they don't know nothing about what they're talking about, because the minerals is only a small portion of active nutrients inside of a plant or an algae that actually causes whatever benefit somebody's getting from it, whether it's more muscle, less fat, more detox, whatever it is. There's a whole host of amino acids, proteins, enzymes, alkaloids, terpenes. I mean, it's so many different things. And so it just shows where somebody is at when they market their stuff, because when you market your stuff, you're putting your best foot forward. So when you're saying, oh, my sea moss got 1,000 minerals, you show that you don't know what you're talking about, because no sea moss or algae has 1,000 minerals. That's not in a way that's in anything past trace. Secondly, it shows that you haven't taken time to study what it is that you're offering to the people. Like, I have to make the distinction when you come in with a food or a herb different than a pair of jeans or a shirt. It's not just the item. It's something that, people is entrusting you with, for their kids. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta take more care. The other piece, some people may not fully understand this slide until we get to the part with the dogs. Now, when we get to the part with the dogs, it'll make a little bit more sense. But I'm gonna just reference that for now, and you got to hold it in your memory for like the next 10 to 15 minutes. A lot of these guys have adopted a lot of these guys have adopted this process of telling people to soak their sea moss overnight before they do anything with it. Now, the reason that they're doing that has nothing to do with the sea moss or making sure the customer has a healthy thing or none of that. It don't got nothing to do with none of that. The reason they telling people to soak the sea moss overnight is because they know they're getting it from compromised places. So they want you to clean it off because they know it might have dog shit on it, bird shit on it, piss on it, rat shit on it. Like, they know that might be on your sea moss. So that's why they're telling you to soak it overnight. They didn't go get it and then bring it back to wherever they at, so they know what's on it, because they know where. Like, I went and got my sea moss and bring it back to the crib. So it's like, I know what been on it. Yeah. I know how many hands touched it. Like, I literally know how many people hands touched this sea moss that when you order the Blue Magic Gel, I know how many hands touched it from the time it left the rock. From the time it left the rock that it grew on, I know how many hands touched it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the level of care. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but what do you mean? What do you mean rock? It grows in the rocks?
Yeah.
It grows between rocks or something?
Yeah, it grows on rocks. Okay. Yep.
Right.
But now here's the thing. when you soak sea moss, right? Because these are algae that particularly grow in water. And the way that they work is they suck in all of the nutrients from the floating water. So that's where the whole 92 mineral thing came from. Being in the ocean, you're exposed as algae. Algae is exposed to the 92 elements that create our actual minerals. And so the whole thing got a little, yeah. But so that's what that is, you know what I'm saying? But
okay, that makes sense.
When you have dead algae, right? When the algae are dead, when they are no longer attached to the rock, or they've been exposed to the air, or they've been exposed to light, all of the minerals that they suck in from water, they start to release back into the water. So when you soak your algae overnight and then you throw away that water, you just threw away all of the vitamins. And these right here are tables from the USDA to show just how much of each vitamin you're losing. So it's not like I'm making up something or woo-woo. Like everything I discuss, I always come with the scientific journals, the clinical laboratory results, or you know, the numbers on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's nothing that people gotta, you know, because clearly I have gold teeth. I mean, there's a universal law that says if you have gold teeth, you clearly can't be an intelligent fucking human. So the fact that I have gold teeth and now double down gold hair, it's a wrap. I have to show that there are white folks that also saying the same thing, because then at that point it registers in black folks' mind as this might be a real thing. You know what I'm saying? If it comes from another black person, if it comes from another black person, that shit is kind of shaky. It could be scamming. He might be scamming. That's, I don't know. I think he's scamming. That's that online help shit.
Yeah, it could be a sham.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
that's what it is. There's too many nutrients in the water. When you and that's lies are attached to one another. So when you think about the soaking of the algae, because they're
wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question real quick. So if you buy some sea moss or Irish moss and it's very salty, how do you get the salt off? You just rinse it about 4 or 5 times, right? Because I was told to rinse it 4 or 5 times and then let it soak overnight and then boil it for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Sis, stop. Go into your bedroom, get your firearm, go back and shoot that nigga, bro. Tell them they owe you years of money, pain and suffering, poison, all kind of shit. They owe you. That's why I'm trying to tell you. This is not pleasant. Listen, when I'm having this conversation, you got to understand this is not pleasant. I'm telling you that the person that you trust, that you go shoot the breeze with, and they word sis as they packaging your shit up, collecting your money, folding it. I'm telling you, this nigga been lying to you for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, however long you've been buying shit from them. They've been beating you in the head. Okay, when you soak the moss, you're throwing away all of the purpose that you purchased the moss for. Nobody that I know drinks or eats sea moss or algae because it's like a candy cane or it's an ice cream or it's an amazing treat. Like everybody that I know that messes with sea moss, they mess with it for the reason of nutrition. So finding out that these goofballs don't know what they're doing.
How do you get the salt off?
I got you. Hold on, sis. Finding out that I got you. Just relax. Okay. When you find out, people get angry about this. Now, like I said, levels to it. The more you find out, the more angry you get sometimes. So you got to be careful with your inquisitive. You have an inquisitive mind, sis, and you down there in Florida, you're going to start raising hell down there. Because in Florida, let me tell you, Florida.
That's right.
Listen, that's Florida is the worst places with sea moss. Because Florida has access to some of the best algae, like in the world, but they don't have no Irish moss. So everybody down there is lying about the Chondrus crispus. They lying about the Irish moss. They telling you, oh yeah, this is the sabium. This is it right here. Stop it, nigga. That shit is not the same. And a lot of them, they just go around the coastline and they pick it up off the ground. Like, we're gonna get to it. They're not even harvesting the shit properly. They just picking the shit up off the ground dead. Anyway, we're gonna get to it though. So when you
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a lot. We gotta try to catch. I gotta try to make sure I hit everything. You know what I'm saying? But so when you soak it, all the nutrition bleeds out into the water. Now, if you're making a gel, then that's perfect because all of the nutrients went into the water that did what? Became the gel. And now you're going to eat the gel. So you're good. But if you soak it or boil it and then you throw out the water, you just lost all of the nutrition. You know what I'm saying? So that's not it. Now, guys will say, oh, well, we want to make sure it's clean. Guess what? Boiling is how we clean things. Duh. The boiling process. The boiling process, like
the purifying, right?
Yeah, like literally we're going to boil it and you're supposed to boil it. That's another thing. See, all these little pieces that the elders, the one thing that we could blame the elders for is the elders were not heavy on explanation. Do this because I said so. And our generations, we needed to understand why. If we couldn't understand why, we threw away the whole practice. That's not how they learn. They learn by experience. You do it, then you'll get it. We don't, that ain't how we, so that's where the generational gap came in. You know what I'm saying? But everything was right there for us. You boil the algae, the nutrients goes in, you killing the bacteria, harmful at the same time, like everything is together. Boop. But again, the hustlers came in and started, it got different, so the first thing that we need to really understand is all life on planet Earth, the number one nutrient is light. Light is the number one nutrient. Light is the number one nutrient. Shit, light is the number 2 and the number 3 nutrient. Everything surrounds light. So the reason that algae are so amazing is because they are the number one photosynthesis performing agents on Earth. There are no plants that perform photosynthesis better than algae. Algae don't have nothing to hold them down or slow them down. But when the pigments are lost or damaged through oxidation, you lose nutrients. And when you lose pigments, that's when your sea moss becomes yellow. So that's why I said this is going to progressively get worse, because first you're going to find out that all those sea moss is not real Chondrus crispus. Then you're going to find out that there's no such thing as yellow or gold sea moss. See, this is the things that make people really furious, because they like, hold up, I've been buying gold sea moss from this guy, and I've been buying sea moss gold from this brand, and St. Lucia, I've been getting straight gold sea moss from St. Lucia, and blah blah blah, all this. And I was buying gold sea moss for years because it's the most popular, it's the most cheap, it's everywhere. I had no idea all this time that the gold means that it's dead. Again, you're losing the nutrients from the algae. And listen, I didn't know none of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm dumb like everybody else. But your street algae, or the nutritional algae, like I said, that we eat, I created that. I coined that term, street algae, just to differentiate, like I said, from the hundreds of thousands that's out there. But street algae come in 3 flavors, basically: your reds, your browns, and your greens. There is no yellows. It's reds, browns, greens. Within the red category, you also have purple. Within the brown category, you also have some greens. And within the green category, you also have some blue-green algae. You got Klamath algae. And then you also have some blue algae. You know what I'm saying? But blue algae almost never hit the market because blue is the the most fragile of all the pigments. But yeah, so you red, purple, brown, green, blue. There's no yellow. So all of the yellow sea moss that you ever purchased was dead. It already lost most of the nutrients that they said that it had in it.
Wow.
So even if the sea moss had 144 minerals, wait a minute, listen to this. Even if the sea moss had 144 minerals in it, which it never did, by the time it turned yellow, it would maybe have 10 or 20. Because yellow is death to sea moss and algae, period. So that's why I'm saying it just gets worse and worse. Because when you go back to the juice bar tomorrow, it's really like open hand slap in the face time tomorrow. Like, bruh, where's my money, bruh? You ain't even been selling me sea moss. You've been selling me like sea moss carcass. You've been selling me like sea moss.
Sea moss carcass.
Man, sea moss carcass. Like that shit look like a sea moss. But all the nutrients and all that is not up, is gone. Because it's yellow. Like it's not, and it's not even up for debate. These are scientific facts, but we be so far behind, and black folks just confused with how they spend their money. And you know what I'm saying? Like we'll be buying sea moss forever and not realize that, first of all, none of these are even classified as moss. Everything that we call sea moss, everything that we call Irish moss is actually algae. So when folks go online to try to find real information about these things, they can't even find real information because they don't even know how to search Google for it. When they search in Google, they searching like benefits of sea moss.
Right.
They be looking up benefits of Irish moss. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not finding no information.
They're not asking the right questions.
Right. You got to ask the right questions. You got to look to study algae. You got to look for marine algae. You got to look for phycology. That's the subject. You got to go to study phycology. You got to look up phycology. You want to go to the bookstore, look up books on phycology. You know what I'm saying? Like when I said that to some people that was debating me, mind you, check this shit out. Imagine being locked and loaded in a debate about sea moss, and then you ask the person about phycology, and they say, "What's that?" Like, bruh, it's just the actual. It's the actual subject matter we're fucking debating right here. It's like if you're debating whether Michael Jordan or LeBron is the GOAT, and you pull out a basketball, and nigga be like, "What's that?" You like, come on, bro. You don't even have a. Like, why am I talking to you right now? But like, this is
right. Okay, I get your point.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, you're going to get that response because their levels of understanding is never going to reach that high. They're researching it the right way. They only research it to their level of understanding. Even if you show them the right way to research it, they're going to say, "I don't need to know all of that. All I need to know is how much health benefits is in it, how much minerals is in it. That's all I need to know."
Right. And it's like, that's not even a real thing, because that is the difference between a healer and an online herbal salesman. An online herbal salesman, his job is to sell herb. That's all he's looking to do. A healer is looking to heal. So if you ask an online herbal salesman about a question, immediately he's going to direct you to all his products. That's the first and the last thing that he want to do, because that's what his business is, selling products. A healer, though, has a vested interest in you feeling better, or you losing weight, or you gaining muscle, or you beating your illness, or you getting rid of a fever, or you getting rid of a rash or some shit. Totally different. So the healer has to get a result and effect. The salesman just has to move a product. The problem is the people can't really tell the difference between who's who. You know what I'm saying? So even when I start asking people like, "Yo, who's who? You know, who did this person study up under? They like, because they'll mention new guys. Oh, I just heard about this brother. Or y'all seen a YouTube video from this nigga. I'd be like, but who was he 2 years ago? Who was he 4 years ago? Was that nigga working in fucking Walmart 2 years ago? Or like, what was like? How long he been studying this information? Like, this is health information. Like, I just don't understand how people even take health information from any John Q. Public nigga off the corner. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'll ask you who this person, because the only two paths that I respect is you going to school, being certified somewhere, or you saying that you got it mouth to ear, studying up under some folks that people know is reputable and respectable, that give their whole life to this.
Right.
One or the other. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't do one or the other, then chances are you just gonna be jumping off the top rope, and your shit might be. So this CMOS thing, people want to get into arguing about nutrients, this, that, and the other. I'm like, nah, bro. The basics of what you need to know is so crazy that you don't even know that you don't know that you're not supposed to consume raw CMOS. You don't even know that you're not supposed to be buying. Like, the only thing yellow CMOS is good for is people that never had CMOS before. Because it's dead, it means that the nutrition is going down. So because the nutrition is going down, it's losing active nutrients. Guess what? It's losing taste. It's losing smell. So that makes it easy for somebody that never had CMOS before to try it out. But it also ruins it for them to ever get any real medicinal benefit from seaweed, because you're not getting no medicinal nutrient in yellow nothing. None of that yellow gold shit is going to have medicinal benefits of nutrients. That's a wrap. You can forget that shit. That had nothing in there. That was like McDonald's French fries. Yellow CMOS is the McDonald's French fries of the fucking CMOS world. There's no nutrients in there. You're just getting like practice, basically, almost. Like,
there's nothing there. Absolutely nothing.
It's very negligible. It's not what you paid for. You know what I'm saying? It's not, when you hear the legends of CMOS, it's not what you think you're getting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what you're getting. It's like, just now I got beat because Chase and Caleb, I gotta blame Chase and Caleb, my sons.
Oh, okay.
You know, on YouTube right now, they got this commercial that comes on and says, you know, and it just startles you and make you like, it's super exciting right off the back. So it shit pull you in. It's like boom, and you see like a drone, and the shit is like shooting fire out the motherfucker. They're like, this drone used to be $5,000, and my employer used to work for the company that made the drone for $5,000, and they made it a discount and all this other shit. Man, we bought them drones. Them drones was tacky as shit. As soon as we turned one on, the wing, like one of the propellers wasn't working. It just went backwards, and went like it was trash. And that is the whole kind of like sales fake trickery that you just don't understand is going on with this, because nobody ever took the time to educate the people. That right there is a problem. There's so many holistic healers that people look at them because of the style of what holistic healer, like you got to wear your afro, your dashiki, your dreads, your blackness, and you got to buddy up and brother this and queen that and king this and all this other fake nice shit. So it creates an aura where people feel unjustly safe. And these black folks are taking advantage of black folks more than white folks are. While they distracting you saying, watch out for the white man, it's really that motherfucker right there that's getting ready to zip zap your ass. That one right there. Hey, Queen. Hey, Moore. Hey, God. Hey, Allah, babes. Out of here with it. I'm red flag going up. Soon as you try to be buddied up with me too soon.
Right.
So you got to watch all that lingo. Because like I said, when they get to this, you're going to realize, come on, nigga, this shit gets so crazy. Watch this here. This shit gets so crazy that we didn't even realize that the CMOS had dog shit and piss on it all this time. We didn't realize that part of the smell that we've been smelling on some of the CMOSs is piss.
Wow.
That's
I mean,
rough.
like,
That's rough.
so it happens because what? They have the animal in the sea moss,
No, it happens because, again, like I said, these
right?
guys is not harvesting sea moss. They're not harvesting algae because they know that the customers don't know any better. Like, people complain about me because they might have to
Mhm.
wait a long time to get the product. But I'm like, yo, and people mad with me when I say this. I'm like, yo, but even if you wait for a long time, you're getting the A1 shit. You just have no idea what that shit that's coming to you fast. I'm like, you have no idea where that shit's coming from. Like, they're not talking
Right. So
seasons.
what is time?
I'm like, how you
When you
buying?
say wait a long time?
Look, if you buy plants from anywhere, right? This is to the weed people, my seasoning people. It don't matter what kind of plants you buy. Whatever plants you buy, if they manage to have the same exact plants year round, it's a problem. If you go to a weed guy, he's selling you weed. We just gonna make this shit as super simple as possible. That's the most plants motherfuckers understand. If he got the same quality weed every single time all year round, something's wrong with that fucking weed. Because plants doesn't grow that way. It's going to be a difference in sun exposure. It's going to be a difference in nutrients available in the soil. It's going to be a difference in rainfall this year. Like, no crop is exactly the same year after
Right.
year. Like,
Exactly.
so, and sometimes, depending on what it is, it might not even be plentiful at certain times of the year. So the prices will fluctuate, certain things like, so again, people don't know any better. When you're in a coastal city or when you live in an island city, the algae washes up like what you see on the screen. And this is where most of the people buying online sea moss get it. When they wash up, they just put people out in the street. I seen it with my own eyes. That's how I learned. They pull up in a U-Haul van, and they'll just put a few people with garbage bags. Like, they'll buy a bag of 99-cent garbage bags from the supermarket. You know how you go to Home Depot and it'd be like homeless guys out front, like not homeless, but people that don't have a job. They out there waiting to work. You know what I'm saying? So you could pull up with a truck and just grab 4 or 5 people to work. They'll pull up and grab 4 or 5 people and give them garbage bags and tell them, hey, $10 a bag. And, you know, they just go get out and fill up the bags off the floor with the algae that's on the floor. That's what you see in front of the screen. This is a person right here doing it. They're picking up algae off the side of the road, filling up their cart. Now, this person that's filling up the cart probably is not the person that's going to sell it, because usually they don't know how valuable what it is they picking up, or they wouldn't accept $10 a fucking garbage bag for it. But this person might be getting $10 an hour to pick up all this algae. Now, the person that's going to go online and sell out on Amazon is going to say it's amazing, fresh quality and all this other bullshit. But really, they know it came from off the side of the where people stepped on it, spit on it, animals done pissed on it, shit on it, birds done, you know, picked through it, squirt, whatever. So that's where the idea, like I was saying, remember I was saying earlier, you'll see why later. This is that part. This is why they say, oh, make sure you soak it overnight. And then after you soak it, wash it again. And then once you wash it, soak it again, and then wash it again. And then soak it some more, and then wash it some more. Because they know they done sold you some shit with rat piss, dog shit off the side. The fucking, you know, shit got ketchup on it because a nigga done waiting at the red light, threw his last little piece of burger down out the window, and the burger splashed on the algae. Like, it's literally in the sewer on the floor. So that's why they telling folks to wash that shit 1,000 before you eat it. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
And like I said, guys is mad. Like I said, I'm showing this because this is not, when I'm showing this, right, I don't want people to think that this is some other person. No, the juice bar that you buying your smoothies from every day, if you see the guy think about it like this. If you see the guy in your juice bar and he been in your juice bar every day making your smoothies, clearly that nigga's not in the ocean because he's at the juice bar every day. So that means he's ordering his shit online, just like the rest of the motherfuckers, and don't know where the fuck it's coming from. Don't know where it's coming from. And this is the places where it's coming from. It's coming right out of dogs' mouths.
Yeah.
Dogs finish peeing on it because it washes up along the road. It's just trash. You know what I'm saying? But it's tasty trash because it's seaweed. So they like to chew on it. You know, some of the animals are picked through, eat certain parts of it, piss in it, lay in it, sleep in it, vomit in it. You know, so this is now people can begin to start understanding. When I say there's a difference between the raw gold, yellow rope, you know, the poop soaked Caribbean, Peruvian, Tanzanian, red dog shit type of sea moss, like me and Haha Davis did a skit and, you know, we was joking, but it's not really a joke. Like we was joking, but it wasn't that much of a joke. Like it really is like, you know, it really is a level now where it's like, you know, we had to really understand that.
Blue magic, red dog.
You know, so now we put together our support because we want to use this as an example to show people what we could do with a little bit. I did all this research as a single father with a deadbeat baby moms. I'm raising 5 little ones by myself. Nobody's sending me nothing, like no, you know, so if I'm doing all this research on a shoestring budget, it's like, imagine what we could do organized. People don't really understand the bag associated with this, but all of your salad dressing, ice creams, all of your food in the supermarket, they depend on algae. Most of the modern medicine depends on algae. Like, so being able to control our own port is a whole nother level. So anyway, people can support if they want to send money, large sums to the nonprofit. Email us at melaninverse.diabetes@gmail. Smaller amounts, I will definitely be passing around my hat, the melanin jar, aka Cash App, $ Minister Enqi. Yes, that is the melanin jar. And if you spent more money last month on blunt wraps than you sent in for melanin diabetes research, you're probably part of the problem. If you spent more money with McDonald's last month than you donated to this melanin diabetes research, chances are y'all are part of the problem. So we want to fix that, right? Even take it to longitude and latitude, you know, and like we had to make sure we cover all bases with this stuff. So, because you got them everywhere, like literally, you got the folks out there right now running around saying they got Chondrus crispus from Tanzania. It's Dr. Sebi approved, and that is a motherfucking lie. That's a lie, just like
wow.
The sun is purple. That's just as much
it's
as
a lie, just like that.
Chondrus crispus does not grow in Tanzania. And see, this is what I'm saying. People got to understand. You got all these websites out there where they saying they got the Dr. Sebi approved Chondrus crispus from Tanzania, or I got Irish moss from Tanzania, or I got purple from Tanzania. Yes, you can have purple from Tanzania, but that's not Chondrus crispus. See, that's why I had to put this here next to this purple so you can see like, oh yeah, this is purple. This is moss, but this is not Chondrus crispus, because Chondrus crispus does not grow on this part of the globe. This is a warm water region. And in fact, the funniest thing is that all of these countries that claim to have Irish moss or Chondrus crispus, they all in the same location. You're going to notice it's the same space for all of them. Look at Peru. Same longitude and latitude. Same longitude and latitude. Same region of the globe. So again, there's no Chondrus crispus growing in Peru. Now, what you have in Peru is this guy right here. This is a popular fake. In fact, there are some websites that actually name this fake Chondrus. Like literally it's called fake Chondrus because people would try to trick you with this as if this is Chondrus, but it's not. It's called Mastocarpus stellatus. This grows in Peru. It looks like overgrown chondrus, but it's not. It doesn't have the same nutrient profile as chondrus. Totally different algae. But like I said, don't stop the frauds from trying to hustle. Jamaica, right? Grenada, right? St. Lucia. None of these places, and these are all the places that you see people on YouTube diving to get their sea moss. So that right there tells me off rip.
Yes,
like,
that's right.
Like, look, no. This is what I'm saying. When you know, you immediately know how to discern who in the room does not know. Meaning, I'll be somewhere, somebody will think they're official, and they'll think they're official, and they'll say something like, "Oh yeah, well, you know, I dive and get my sea moss from such and such, or my cousin dive and get the sea moss and woo woo woo." But see, that tells me everything that I needed to know right there. And now that I'm educating the people, when people listen, they're gonna be able to catch on too. The moment you said dive, you're not talking about Irish moss. You're not talking about Chondrus crispus. You're not talking about bladderwrack. You're not talking about cold water algae. You're talking about sea moss. That's the only place that you can dive is in those warm water places. So when you look online, you always gonna see not only is it beautiful out, but they don't have no jackets. Everybody's skin is glistening in the sunlight. All that's Caribbean shit. That ain't happening in the cold ocean. The places where you gotta go to get chondrus and bladderwracks from, this shit that eats niggas. you in open water. You might be in some shallow water, but that shit's still shallow open water. So if that tide open up on your ass and them 6 foot waves roll in, oh, it's all kind of shit that rolls in with that. So you could die harvesting chondrus. It's not the same as harvesting cotton, where you just like, you know, you see somebody look like he did 1,000 push-ups, and his girlfriend, she looked like she just bought her booty last week, and they, you know, having this, you know, marvelously relaxing looking swim to harvest the raw, fresh sea moss. Like, stop it. Them slow motion videos and all that shit, that's not Chondrus crispus and bladderwracks. I promise you. That's not how that works. You got to go in the cold water off the coast of Canada, North America, Alaska, Ireland, Japan, them cold water places. You got to be bundled the fuck up. It's freezing. And then you got to be in a metal boat because it's so much rocks that it'll pierce through certain types of, like, it's not like, soon as person say dive, I know what they dealing with. Off rip. I'm like, oh, okay, that ain't what I'm talking about. You got something else. That ain't even the same kind of work. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is a very popular brand. This is a very popular brand, and this brand highlights the whole problem. Right? This brand highlights the whole problem. Hold on one second.
So that brand is fake.
That brand is absolutely fake. That brand is not fake. That brand is super fake. When I say fake, I mean that they don't even qualify as fake. This is super fake, right? So first things first. Now that we know what the chondrus actually looks like, right? Here's what the chondrus looks like. This is Irish moss. So now that we see that Irish moss looks like this, we clearly know when we look into this package that that's not Irish moss, correct?
Right.
Right. I see that.
Clearly, like once you know what it look like, you can't even be fooled no more. So off rip, why do they have Irish moss on the package? See, that's
false advertisement.
False
for
advertisement.
Money to make that sale.
Yep. And it's like, I wish that we could blame white folks or some other type of foreigners, but it's us doing this to us. And now that we got this little bit of knowledge, we could look inside this bag and we could go, okay, wait a minute, that's not Irish moss. Not only do I know that that's not Irish moss, but now I know that that's actually Eucuma cottoni. So now I know exactly what type of algae it is. So now that gives me an idea of what nutrients is in it, what color it should be, blah, 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 blah. So now when I see that it's yellow, that's a whole nother conversation. When I see that it's yellow, that tells me that they either picked it out of the ocean when it was red, green, brown, purple, whatever, and they let it sit on the side of the beach there drying until all of the pigment and the nutrients broke down and it turned yellow. Or that they did what these guys do. Now, this is some other slick shit these guys is into. These guys here, they pick like this, like a homeless person's business in other countries. You know what I'm saying? Sea moss. So they go into the garbage can, they get all of the bottles that people throw away after they drink off it, and they just find any little shoestrings or belts, whatever they can, and they tie the bottles and the strings up, and they float algae in the water off the string. Now, the algae will continue to grow if you put it in water anywhere. You could put algae in water in your tub, it'll grow. You could put algae in your pool, it'll grow. But that don't mean that's the ideal setting for it. And if that's not the right habitat, the right nutrients is not going to get into it. It's not going to be able to offer you them. Like, people don't understand. I guess they just, maybe they don't understand that in order for a plant or an algae or whatever to have nutrients to offer you, it has to pull them out of the water or the soil first. If those things is not present when it's growing, it can't be there to give to you. So when these niggas is tying shit up off of garbage, swinging it on the water and all that, just because they could hustle it, like this type of sea moss don't even never turn the full color that it's supposed to, because it never fully matures. So that's why this might be yellow, because it never even fully matured to what it was supposed to look like as a red, a purple, a green, etc., because all those things are habitat dependent. You know what I'm saying? So now we done been on here for about 2 hours. Now people know enough to burn down damn near every juice bar and smoothie bar they done been to. Along with their favorite online herbal salesman. So I'll pause right there, sis. If you got any questions about anything we went over so far.
Yes, there's some questions in the chat that I'm going to put up on the screen
About the things that about the stuff we went through so
far. Yeah, it's similar to it. One said, I'm going to put it on the screen now.
Yeah, whoever put that up, I'm glad y'all reminded me. So this right here is a actual whole course that we're gonna have on the Patreon. So we just released a documentary. The documentary is the first part of the course. It's over 4 hours. People that want to get the whole documentary, is called American Healer, and we're documenting not only how to use the moss, but how to heal diabetes, cancer, tumor, strokes, etc. How to regrow the pancreas, how to potentially regrow the pancreas using herbs alone. A lot of groundbreaking stuff we got packed into the documentary for folks. You know what I'm saying? So we breaking that out as much as we can. You know, as we trying to feed the people. Like I said, I got 1,100 slides, and you know, probably so far we've spent 2 hours. We probably went over about 15, 20 slides, and we've been here for 2 hours. I got 1,100 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Wow.
So yeah, we only did about.
Right.
Let me see where we started. We went from 219. Yeah, we went from 219 to 259. So we went through about 30, 40 slides. You know what I'm saying? And that's 2 hours. So you figure 1,100 of them where, you know.
So we have this not a question, but a statement from Shep Saru. And this brother says, I have purchased a pound of sea moss from Dr. Enqi before.
I definitely want to appreciate him for
and
that.
Then he went on to say, Dr. Enqi, the pound of sea moss I got from you wasn't raw because I remember you said that you wanted to pill with it. So I have making it, just adding it to water or juice.
So that means he might got the gel. So that's the way you're supposed to do it. We added to water, we added to juice, we added to our smoothies, we added to oatmeal, we put it in spaghetti sauce. If I make soup, I put it in there. Like, you know, we don't do the raw, we always gel it, and then we use the gel to add to different stuff.
And then he said, since I have been taking the magic in powder form, as it was sent to me, was that a mistake?
Nah, but
put the blue magic in hot water.
It confused people, so I stopped selling the powder. You know what I'm saying? But no, you wasn't wrong. But the powder was more like do it yourself. So if you wanted to make your own capsules or your own concoctions, you know, I wanted to give people the freedom, but you know, a lot of people just got confused with it. So I kind of start just focusing in on the gel. Like, okay, here, it's easier when I send people the gel. You know what I'm saying? When I send people the moss, it gets crazy with the cooking. The powder got people. But, you know, I might have got too excited when I got the access to the ocean the way I did. Because most of the healers and the online salesmen that you hear talk about this stuff, they never really went into the ocean and got it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So for me, having the access to have so much, I just went to go crazy. Like I wanted to make my own powder and make my own this and that. And I just started going nuts with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah.
Right.
Even
so now, he also says, can we put the blue magic hot water?
I even messed up my bathtub already.
He wants magic in hot water.
Who?
Did he ask a question?
No, that was cool. Drinking it in hot water, that's fine.
Yeah, his question was, could he put the blue magic powder in hot water?
Hot water's fine.
Oh, okay.
Hot water's fine. But nothing is the same as the blue magic gel, though. Like, that's not the same. Like, you can't go get Chondrus crispus and gel it and think it's the same as blue magic. The Chondrus crispus, the blue magic gel is not just Chondrus crispus. Like I said, we have a lichen gel. We blend together with our blend of cold water algae that we use to make the blue magic. That's why it has that dark color, because it's a variety of algae that we use, and we have a specific process that we use to preserve all of the pigment. So all of this focuses in on the pigment. The pigment is like the key part of the story, because my research into diabetes ended me into the pigment system, which is the reason why, you know, Black folks and brown folks around the globe have a 200% higher chance of coming down with, you know, type 2 diabetes than anybody else, because we have much more pigment, and diabetes is an affliction of the pigment systems in the body. So, you know, so that's the thing that I focus in on, and then understanding the anatomy of the plants is another piece why I made sure that, but we'll get to that part. You know what I'm saying? So, but any more questions on this first part before we keep on going? All right. So
He says, thank you, Dr. Enqi, and thank you, sister. You're so welcome, Shepsu Heru. I'm happy that you're here 2 nights in a row on Real Radio Talk. I appreciate you and your questions. Please keep them coming. If you have anything you would like to say or ask, maybe when you could be a part of the live stream, because you seem like you ask a lot of questions like me.
man, and that's where that information comes from. Now, kelp is one of the most popular cold water algae.
But wait a minute, before you go into the kelp, Dr. Enqi. So you're saying that melanin and diabetes are enemies of each other?
Absolutely. Melanin and diabetes are big time enemies of one another. they as enemies as you can. Those are the
so
ops.
that explains why sometimes. So that explains why sometimes a person could be born with diabetes, like a person of melanin color will be born with diabetes. They didn't even get a chance to be exposed to a bad diet. Just born with it.
No, that's
Does that explain that or no?
No, that's a different type of diabetes. So you have different types of diabetes. That's the first thing, is getting a handle on all of the different types of diabetes out there. And there's more than 2 types of diabetes, so it's not 2 types of diabetes. But when you have diabetes, however you got the diabetes, no matter the form of the diabetes, if you have excess glucose in your body, it is going to attack the pigment centers of the body. That's just how that works. So when you look at the list of what diabetes does, like what diabetes is known to do, it makes people go deaf. Why? Because it attacks the pigment in the ears that you need to hear. It makes people go blind. Why? Because it attacks the pigment in the eye that you need to, it's wherever you have a high pigment concentration, or wherever you have a high mitochondrial concentration. And the reason that happens is because mitochondria is also dependent on pigment. So a lot of what I also have to fight through is the racism that's in institutional academia. So in academia, we're taught that, mitochondria is the flyest shit. And, you go online and you watch these white folks like Jack Cruz or George Pollock and some of these other white guys. And, mitochondria. It's like, bruh, stop it. Mitochondria depends on pigment too. 2 pigments. Number one, the electron transport chain is composed of heme. Heme is a pigment, the same pigment that your blood cells are made out of. That's number one. Number two, outside of each mitochondria, it has to be in the vicinity of a melanosome, because melanin is required to buffer all of the antioxidant like sparks, literally, that pop off that electron transport chain. There's a lot of free radical activity that that electron transport chain produces. So inside your cells, most people don't know, but melanin is all over the place. Matter of fact, let me see. I can pull up the. Let me see that big is. Bam. So this is inside a cell right here. And this is a mitochondria. And you see right outside of every mitochondria, you see these big melanosomes. Melanosomes are the enzymes that actually make melanin. So these little black granules are the actual droplets of melanin that the melanosome makes to surround the mitochondria to absorb all of the free radicals that's there. But again, you don't hear nothing about the melanin that's required for the mitochondria to function. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these is things that, you know, it just doesn't get discussed because of the way, like I said, the institutional racism that kind of prevents certain information from coming to light. But you can't heal the body if you don't know these things. So, you know, diabetes is the monster behind heart disease and brain disease. Why? Because the heart and the brain have the highest concentration of mitochondria, right? But we see the mitochondria has, you know, it has to work with the melanosomes that's there. And inside of the mitochondria, it requires the heme protein groups. So that's an entirely pigment-driven and dependent conversation. And so, you know, just not having that in school creates a deficit where the people that are the most rich in pigment are going to be at a health disadvantage because, you know, anything that involves pigment, the information is just not there. So we don't know what to do. Like, people have been proud of having melanin all these years for no apparent reason. Like, they're proud and happy of melanin right up until they get into the kitchen. Ask them, do they consider their melanin when they get ready to put their diet together? Nope. Because they listen to goofballs tell them that phytic acid. Yeah, phytic acid is an anti-nutrient. So you should get rid of the skin of your fruits and vegetables because, you know, phytic acid is an anti-nutrient. Meanwhile, phytic acid is one of the main nutrients they need to heal up their kidneys. We don't even think about what processed food. It's like when you say processed food, everybody knows processed food, that means bad food. Okay, processed food, bad food. But why is it bad? It's bad because processed means literally removing the pigment. When you remove the pigment, you remove the fiber and you remove the minerals. That's what the process is. They took the color out of there and they took the fiber out. So now when you take the color and the fiber out, the minerals are gone, the vitamins are gone because they're attached to the color and the fiber. And then the only thing you have left is starch and sugar. And the starch and the sugar is now dangerous because it is now unattached to the antioxidants and the fibers and the minerals and all the things that would have allowed your body to process it properly. So it's not necessarily the fruits and the vegetables because they have sugar, but it's the processed it's the lack of pigment and fiber in the diet.
But they know the end result when they process this stuff.
Yeah, more money. Because they get to take the food and sell it
before that end product. They know that their product is dangerous.
No, that's a fact. But that's what I'm saying. That makes more money because if I take out the food from the ground, if I sell it to you as a whole food item, I'm really just pulling it out the ground and selling it to you. So I might pull it out the ground and sell you one for $5 or $8 or $10, whatever. But if I can process it, I can sell it to you processed and still get that $10 from you. But now I could take the fiber that I got out of it and I could put that in a box and sell that to you for $8 right beside the food that I just sold you for $10. In fact, I'm going to tell you that starch and that sugar is going to clog you up. You're going to need this box of fiber to help clear out the starch and the sugar.
Right.
Then I'm also going to tell you to vitamin shop in GNC so that you could buy antioxidants, minerals, and vitamins.
I'm also going to send you to the doctor when all this stuff don't work. And I'm going to get a kickback from that too.
Here you go. I'm about to say, and then we got the medical industry where now I got to sell you the medication. And so that one item that could have just been the regular $10 fair trade, you know, through nefarious practices, that one item done stretched into $200 by the time they done turned it into yellow number 5s and you know, makeup to put, you know, to coat up your, you know, so you eating the crazy shit so your skin look bad, so you need makeup to cover up the, like, it just, you know, it's a snowball effect.
Cause and effect. It's all a snowball effect.
Yeah. So now, one of the things that it's pretty.
So what is the gray sea moss? Because Shepsu Haru said that he has the gray one.
The gray one. I don't know which one that he has. But if he bought it like last summer, I had about 10 different strains I had about 10 different types of algae. So if we got it last summer, I don't remember what we got.
So the gray one is there such thing as gray sea moss? Because Shepsu Haru says that the one I got is gray.
Yeah, I would have to see that. I don't know about a gray, but it might be color is an individual thing. So you might put a blue in somebody's hand and they might call it paisley, or they might say it's a gray, or they might say it's even a green if it's a tealish color. Like it's, so I'm sure it was a blue strand that he got if he's calling it gray. But he could put a picture up and then we know what it is exactly. You know what I'm saying? But again, like I said earlier, even with the powder, that's why I cut down on offering people so much, because I realized it was like giving a loaded gun to a baby. People don't know, and because I have access and I want to share, I'm like, yo, we got this, we got that, we got yellows, blues, reds, diamonds. Oh my! Like I had like 3 or 4 different yellows, 3 or 4 different reds, purples, eggplant, purple, midnight, like navy blue. Like I had all kinds of
right.
Yeah. But
right. He said that it looked gray to me, but it was blue magic.
Shepsu Haru, let me know when it's okay for us to proceed, sir. Because we want to proceed. We appreciate that you got some seed bugs. We want to proceed.
That means he's paying. That's why. He's like right behind you. Right behind you.
Trust me. These people that follow me, they're used to me doing 11 and 12-hour YouTubes. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta sometimes like, hey, we're going forward, because we're segueing. We'll stay right there forever. You know what I'm saying? So I want to at least get at least one more before we get to midnight. You know what I'm saying? Midnight is when I gotta see y'all later. So I want to try to at least get through, at least a couple more little good pieces before we get to the midnight.
A good amount.
Yeah, I mean, we did y'all got enough now to raise hell. You know what I'm saying? Shepsu Haru gonna lead the way. You know what I'm saying? But we got enough now.
And he asked another, he asked another question too. He said, I just wanted to know about vitamin C, 5,000 milliliters daily. Is that good? Is it good to take 5,000 vitamin C a day?
It depends on what you're going through. That's a lot of vitamin C. Are you sure he meant to type vitamin C? Maybe he typed vitamin D, because that's like a regular, Maybe he meant vitamin D. 5,000 vitamin C is a lot. But vitamin C is a water soluble
milligrams.
Vitamin. So it depends on what your life is like on a day-to-day basis. You can take vitamin C, you can take some high doses and it's not gonna, it just depends on what your life is like. But every time that you get stressed or you have a flush of like cortisol and some of those other stress-based hormones, you do lose the majority of your vitamin C, as well as all of your B vitamins, all of your water-soluble vitamins. Sometimes, depending on your lifestyle, you may have to do 2, 3, 4 times in a day, and you may have to go way beyond what the daily recommended. That's a generalization for the general public. That's not like each person specifically with their lifestyle. That's a big thing for me is your specific lifestyle.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I think it's safe for you to proceed now.
Oh, cause you see, I'm quiet now. I'm not. We gonna just sit right here and wait, because I don't want you. But Shep Suharu said,
Sorry, I spoke too soon.
everybody at home just
I spoke
know.
too soon because now we got Sister Yael.
Right. So y'all going.
Wait, hold on.
Y'all gonna.
How much vitamin D should people take a day? A different person. She wants about how much vitamin D should people take a day. From
Right, so
Sister
look,
Yaya L. Thank you, Sister Yaya.
yes, that was a very good question. And what we're gonna do is we're probably just gonna make this question and answer period, and we're just gonna come back another time for the presentation. We'll just make this Q&A time.
No, I want to hear about the 6 species of kelp. I don't know why you unshared the screen. You need to put that back up there because I want to know about the 6 species of kelp. She just came in, that's why she asked the question. I think Shep Suharu is okay now.
We good. We got Sister Yaya. We gonna get to. Hold on, I'm looking for our answer right now. I mean, I can answer it in words, but I'd rather put my chart
So
up.
let me know when you want to share that screen again, okay? Yeah, let me know when you're ready to share the kelp again because I definitely want to know about that.
The kelp screen is down. We'll come back. We're gonna come back on the kelp. Hold on, I'm trying to find the vitamin D chart though. I actually made a vitamin D chart I have in my Eat Right for Your Haplotype book. I realized that there was no chart out there for people to understand what they were supposed to do with this. So even the chart is not super exact, but it'll get you in the right direction where you need to be. Hit the share screen. That was a super excellent question. See it down there?
Oh, yes, I see it. Let me add it to the stream.
So, one of the things I learned with the vitamin D, first things first, I was misled, like a lot of Black folks, into thinking the darker you are, the easier it is for you to get your vitamin D from. That's exactly the opposite of the truth. The lighter you are, the easier it is for you to get your vitamin D. So a white person can go out in the sun at 11 in the afternoon and stand out there for 10, 20 minutes and get all the vitamin D they need for the day. You, on the other hand, sisters, you look like you almost somewhere around me. You're going to have to be in that same sun for at least 2 hours. You're going to have to be in that sun for at least 2 hours. Now, the beauty is they are learning that there are multiple vitamin Ds, and not just like vitamin D1, D2, D3. Like vitamin D is actually a family of steroids, and that the family of steroids all has different benefits. Now, the 400 IUs a day, that's way beneath what anybody needs daily for vitamin D. That 400 IU number, people need to know that that was a death number, meaning when people start having rickets and dying from not having vitamin D, they find out what was the lowest amount of vitamin D that you could have and just to stay alive, and that's the 400. So the 400 that's nobody should be just only having 400 IUs of vitamin D, especially not somebody brown or Black. You should have at least 1,000, 5,000 a day. Me and the children, sometimes we take a lot more, especially throughout the last few years or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like we would do a lot more sometimes. But the one thing that you have to know, and it kind of irritates me a lot when I hear people talk about vitamin D, is they would talk about the benefits of high amounts of vitamin D, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. And they never mention calcium. They never mention magnesium. They never mention vitamin D's relationship to your bones or how the high levels of synthetic vitamin D. Like vitamin A and vitamin D are both pigments. Because they're pigments and your body's so dependent on pigments, which is again something that people don't really know or understand because it's a blackout on pigments in the science textbooks. Vitamin A and vitamin D and both cause cancer in people. Synthetic vitamin A and synthetic vitamin D. Now, the synthetic vitamin A causes cancer in your by messing with your neurons and your nerves' ability to share information and some other stuff. The vitamin D, on the other hand, it causes cancer and problems a whole nother way. Before it gets to cancer, it'll cause high blood pressure and some other stuff. And the way it does that is when you take the synthetic vitamin D, once you get past, I think, like 10,000 IUs a day or something like that, 10,000, 15,000 a day, the vitamin D, the synthetic form, because it doesn't go into your cells the same way as the original does, it'll pull some of the calcium out into some of your tissues and cause those tissues to harden. And once you get the hardening of the soft tissues, you know, from there you going downhill. So the way you do that is with the vitamin A, you never get the fake vitamin A. Ta-da! You get the real vitamin A anytime you have pigment in your food. So if you're eating yellow, orange, red food, or you're getting the algae, the blue magic is loaded with vitamin A or retinols more specifically. So you want to get your vitamin A's from food. Now, with the vitamin D, of course, it's dope to say, hey, get it from the sun or whatever the case, but that's not, you know, realistic for everybody. So we do supplement, you know what I'm saying? If you're taking synthetic vitamin D, if you're going past 10,000 IUs a day, and I'm a high consumption vitamin D person, the only thing you got to do to fix that problem is you got to add vitamin K to it. Vitamin K will push that calcium from the soft tissues back where it belongs. So that's how you fix the problem that you experience from high amounts of synthetic vitamin D. Now, natural vitamin D, there's no toxic level. You know what I'm saying? There is no toxic level. The toxic level of vitamin D only exists in the synthetic forms. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you can neutralize that by having the right amount of vitamin K. But most people don't get enough vitamin K in their food because vitamin K is from green vegetables. Most people don't eat the greens. And, to make matters worse, vitamin K is like the most anti-medicine vitamin. You know what I'm saying? So usually people's medication depletes the body of vitamin K at the same time as they're not getting vitamin K. So there's a lot of people that have high blood pressure that really don't have high blood pressure. They just have vitamin K deficiencies.
Or is that what they call borderline high blood pressure?
A lot of times because you won't have the full symptoms because you just need the vitamin K. Because what happened is when you bleed in a lot of calcium, that'll make you bleed a lot of magnesium too. So you get the vitamin K, that'll put the calcium where it belongs, and then your magnesium could do the purpose that is, you know, and one of the main purposes of your magnesium, going back to diabetes, is again ATP. ATP is the energy of the body, but it has to be escorted in and out of cells by magnesium. So you can run into energy deficiency by just not having, you know, the magnesium, the vitamin K, or some of the complementary nutrients that your body needs for a given whatever.
Okay.
My magnesium level is low. I get migraines. I usually eat broccoli to get rid of it. Do you know what causes the drop? Those my menstruation. Would you say, doc? Nah, nope. It's the magnesium. Okay, so one of the things that magnesium does is magnesium acts as an anti-inflammatory. So magnesium will quell and relax all your body's muscles. So sometimes we can get migraines from a variety of different reasons. And some of us, we like our brain is a muscle, and like all of our muscles, like any of our muscles in our bodies, if we're low on calcium, we can cramp. And you know what I'm saying? Like you literally can get cramps. You know what I'm saying? Like headaches, one of the most mysterious things, you know what I'm saying? But we got to remember the brain is a muscle. So any muscle that we have too much circulating calcium in, the contractions are going to start to be a lot stronger than the ability for those muscle cells to relax. That's what magnesium, that's one of the things it does. Like all these things, they got multiple jobs, you know what I'm saying? But one of the jobs that magnesium does is it allows muscles to relax. So calcium increases contractions, magnesium increases relaxation. So that's why it's weird when you're pregnant. They want to keep them contractions, so they want to keep the calcium level, you know what I'm saying, the magnesium. So, you know, but people got their own home remedies. They drink it easy and make the poop. You know, what's that, milk of magnesia? They drink milk of magnesia to try to force the contractions, but depending on where they are in the delivery process, the magnesium might relax the contractions instead of forcing it. So you have some people that they drink that and they go have a delivery. Some people, their baby still don't come. But that's the reason, because magnesium relax the muscles. But vitamin D is always a good question.
Let me see if there's any more questions.
Vitamin D had me super angry because that's another example of like when you see these textbooks, most textbooks, like now that I done start talking about it, like I start seeing little changes popping up. But most textbooks, they tell you that your skin makes vitamin D. That's such a blatant lie. Skin doesn't make vitamin D. Your skin cells are called keratinocytes. They can't absorb UV light. If they absorb UV light, they get cancer. That's the reason why we have to have suntan lotion, this and that, because skin cells can't handle UV radiation. Only melanin, the pigment, can handle that UV radiation. So the fact that we know UVB is what creates vitamin D in our body, we got to stop saying skin cells absorb the UVB and make vitamin D. Vitamin D is produced by melanin. Melanin is absorbing that UVB and then producing vitamin D. Collard greens for vitamin K, all greens for vitamin K. Any leafy greens, you're going to get your vitamin K. Yeah. But people don't really eat their greens, or if they do eat their greens, the greens be dead, and then people be putting pork in it. Be like, bro, how you gonna put?
I knew David was going to say something when you mentioned that pork and collard greens. I know he was going to reply with a laugh. Actually,
no, see, I have to be careful with my leafy greens because they cause me blood clots. Because I consumed quite a bit and was inactive for a while. That's when I, basically had back surgeries. And I was still eating my greens when I should have been cutting back on my greens. And yeah, so.
Yeah, it can. You got to balance. You know,
you got to balance. Yeah,
the diet's got to balance. The thing, that's why we stress. We're not even like my program. We're not even stressing vegan. You know what I'm saying? Like our thing is, we just stressing pigment and fiber. And even that is making people mad because it's like, listen, you could be on a vegan diet and not be healthy if you don't get enough pigment and fiber in. You could be on a meat-based diet and not be healthy if you don't get enough pigment and fiber in. So clearly your health benefits is based on the content of pigment and fiber. It has nothing to do with whether it's meat or whether it's plant. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the thing. The only major difference between meat protein and plant protein, again, is the phosphorus level. The phosphorus, the phytic acid, is what neutralizes the acids that your metabolism makes from, you know, from metabolizing. Like whenever you metabolize any type of protein, amino acids, you're always going to get sulfurous acid and ammonia as byproducts. Those are the two things. I mean, it's a lot of chemicals and all kinds of other stuff that you can get into, but just naturally, those are intrinsic aspects of protein metabolism, period, in all mammals. You know what I'm saying? Now, the difference is all plants are going to have phytic acid. All plants, especially high protein based plants, they're all going to have a lot of phytic acid in there. Phytic acid is going to neutralize the ammonia and the sulfurous acid when you're eating them. So when I have, for instance, if I have some hemp protein, the hemp has phytic acid in it. So when my body starts breaking the hemp down and produces ammonia and sulfurous acid, the phytic acid is going to neutralize them so that I only get the amino acids and the benefits that I was looking for. Whereas, say, for instance, if I had a steak or a piece of chicken breast or whatever, I would get the same amount of ammonia and sulfurous acid as I would from the plant protein. The only difference is there is no phosphorus in that animal protein. So now, to buffer that ammonia and that sulfurous acid, my body is going to have to pull phosphorus from the bone. My body's going to have to pull alkaline minerals from the bone to buffer these acids. That becomes a tremendous burden over time when you learn that your bones house, you know, the majority of what people call their immune system. You know what I'm saying? I say people because I don't, but for the majority, like your, you know, your antibodies, like it just so confusing. People like, oh, my antibodies, I need antibodies. And then you getting, you know, fried chicken. I'm like, you went in two directions right there. The fried chicken is antibody.
Yeah,
That's
you're getting the wrong antibodies.
Right. That's you. Yeah, that's not what you. So, because again, it's your bone marrow, and your bone marrow is another type of pigment that houses your stem cells and, you know, your B cells, T cells, and all these things that we depend on for, you know, longevity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So even that space is something that we have to begin to re-examine. But like I said, people have to, you know, they got to understand there's only but so much I could do as a single man with 5 children. Like I need, you know, people to send in the cash apps or people to come in with the big bag, 10,000s, thousands. Now we have the nonprofit, you know, people can email Melanin vs. Diabetes. We can, you know, send them the money so they can put the, you know, cut the check, you know what I'm saying? Like, but this is something that we have to spend our time and money on because nobody else is going to do it for us. That's another thing. Like we think that we're sitting around waiting for somebody else to handle this shit. Like, no, Black folks have a 200% risk factor for type 2 diabetes. And that means that they also are getting the heart disease because diabetes, number 1 cause of heart disease. That means that we're also leading in brain disease because diabetes, the number 1 cause of brain disease. To the point where they put Samuel Jackson in that movie to be the the movie that they got on the experimental drugs for Alzheimer's. They put Samuel Jackson to be in the movie. This, you know, like that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? But now is that
which movie is that? Formula 51?
No, that's not even a movie. My bad. I shouldn't have said movie. It's a
Documentary.
no, it's a TV series. It's a show. You know what I'm saying? On the Apple Network, and it's about him, and he got the brain disease, and they give him an experimental drug, and you know, it's the guy that was in the big fat guy. He was in Get Rich or Die Trying with 50, and he was in another movie with he was in the Transformers movie with Anthony Anderson, I think his name is. Big fat guy. He's funny. He'd be in a lot of movies now. But anyway, he was in the he was in the movie, and you know, like, so, you know, it's just we in a space now where I'm like, I just don't, you know, like a lot of these things, the unfortunate thing for the people, like we're in a place where we just have to have a lot of maturity and growth, because the unfortunate thing for the people is I'm the guy. I know. They mad. They would love it to be somebody else. Like it would be amazing if somebody else discovered which herbs it is regrows the pancreas. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a nicer brothers out there. There's more. There's brothers out there that doesn't cuss. There's brothers out there that doesn't hair. There's brothers out there that don't have yellow hair. They don't have gold.
Yeah, there's brothers out there that ain't got gold teeth. Yeah,
man. So you know they would love if it was a relative of Sabi's, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. But you got me. I'm the first ever healer to go into the ocean to get his own. You know what I'm saying? I'm the first one to find the herbs that potentially regrow the pancreas. I'm the one to just, you know, like, unfortunately, you niggas are stuck with me or nothing. That's the other option. You got them, or you got their online. The guys that been selling you the yellows, you got them too now. Let me not overlook them.
Let's not forget that.
You can still go back to the guys that been selling you the Vaseline moss, or, you know, will you be doing diabetic exercise? Only video to help diabetic. Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, that yellow moss is that yellow gel is Vaseline gel. That ain't nothing. But no. We actually have a system of exercises that we do that I kind of stumbled on. So a lot of people that are diabetics, they're not really athletic. So until they work themselves up into shape, we have our little 60 and 60 program. And basically every 60 minutes, we do 60 seconds of exercise, and the exercise are isometric or calisthenic, so that you can do them anywhere. So like while I've been on the show with you guys, I've been doing some of the exercises. You just, like, one of them, when you're sitting down for long periods of time, straighten out your leg. Like right now, I have my right leg straight. You can only stay seated with your legs straightened out for a little bit of time for that shit to start shaking. And when that happens, you're activating all the nerves and the muscles in that leg, getting the blood to flow through there. Put your leg down after 30, 40 seconds and switch to the other one. Get that blood flow. Stand up, do your toe raises. It's very important, especially for the online community, people that's online all the time. You need to treat yourself like a diabetic. If you spend longer than 2-3 hours a day on the internet, you need to treat yourself like a diabetic, because you will become a diabetic from the blue light and the lack of exercise alone. But yeah, so we have our 60 and 60 for the people, like, you know, if you join the Patreon, you'll have access to all of that stuff. And if you get the curriculum, now the whole curriculum, obviously we're releasing it We have multiple release dates. So we have July 22nd, where the documentary dropped. Then we have August 28th.
Mhm.
We have the Paramount lecture. And then we have September 11th, where we have the 2-day marathon. We'll be going through the whole. Now, all of that obviously will be on Patreon, free for the members once again. But we do have Blu-ray that we're releasing of everything. So right now, the documentary is on Blu-ray, drinki.com. You can get the Blu-ray. Make sure, if you go to drinki.com to get anything, I have a low budget, like capture phrase type of security on my website. So when you get to the payment screen, you're not going to be able to buy anything unless you refresh your payment screen. So go to the website like normal, put your stuff in the cart. When you get to the checkout screen, like you got to refresh your screen, and then it'll let you put your credit card information and stuff. So, but yeah,
So how, Dr. Enqi, how about this suggestion? Why don't you add my yin yoga program to your diabetic exercise program?
I gotta go through the yoga program. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a fan of yoga. I'm not an anti-yoga person. I have to go through it before I add it and co-sign it and all. I gotta go through it and see the specifics of it.
Yeah, I'm talking about yin yoga though. That's a different style of yoga.
I got you. But I'm saying whatever the style is, I would have to go
I would have to go
from
you would
student
need to join the class. Yeah, you would need to do a session.
No.
Yeah, you need to do a session, and then you can get the feel for yourself.
Not a session. If I add it to my program, I would have to go from student to mastery so I could know it in and out before I could, release it as a part of my program. I would have to be a master of it.
I see.
Yeah. But I'm a fan of yoga though, because yoga healed me up. So I'm a fan of yoga. So I'm definitely down to get into some yin yoga. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna spend time Tai Chi, a lot of time in traditional jiu-jitsu as well as Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a testosterone pure madness, you know what I'm saying? But original, full form jiu-jitsu is like a female martial art, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of yoga and Tai Chi associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm down with all of it.
Yeah, Tai Chi is an art in it. Say that again.
I said I'm down with all the smoke. I'm down to get into.
Repeat that again. Okay, I hear you. Yes. All right, so you got a shout out from the Mighty Hebrew.
Man, shout out to the Mighty Hebrew. Mighty Hebrew is all over the place. Shout out to Mighty Hebrew.
Yes. And he says he's watching live from Tanzania.
That's what I was about to say. I know he's somewhere not right here. He's everywhere. He might be in Chicago. He might be in Detroit. He might be in New York. He might be in Israel, Africa. But shout out to the brothers that's definitely spreading knowledge and information all over the globe. You got to move around and travel.
Right.
So, all right. So we at 11:30. We need to come back for part 2 so we could talk about kelp.
You want that kelp? Oh, and I was hoping you can just go through maybe 2 kelp slides, and then we can do the part 2 if we can finish it Monday. At least where you stopped at. At least you can cover where you stopped at.
Yeah, I got a nice clip for y'all.
It's necessary for you to explain yourself.
All right, hit the.
So you need to share the screen again.
Yes, man. This is a clip from the actual documentary because we really want people like not treat this information as if it's cute, like at the zoo. Like, oh, that's nice. Like, no, you need to join and learn this information. Like, you need to prioritize this.
Right.
We went across the country. A part of the documentary, you'll see, not in the clip, but if you watch the documentary, we went across the country and took a survey and asked people what was melanin. And Black people embarrassed us so bad across the country. The beauty of it is that we also have people participating, and the white folks didn't know either. So it would have been horrible if the white folks knew and then we didn't. Like, but
Yeah,
nobody.
that would have been tragic.
Nobody knew what it was, and half the people didn't even know what diabetes
So
was.
it's equally embarrassing.
Wait, one Black lady that was diagnosed with diabetes didn't know what diabetes was or melanin, and she had both of them. I'm like, this is where we at. Anyway, but you know, this is a couple of clips from it, and it might stimulate a few more. Might stimulate a few more questions before we get up out of here.
All right, let me check my notes.
It's necessary for you to explain yourself, bro.
Hey, man. Man's gotta eat.
Not that much cookies. Look at that.
It's so fun. I'm live.
Cool. What's going on, man? Yeah, I was telling you when I first learned about the 40-day fast, I could order some of the products. Yeah, I think I was probably around like 390.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was about around that time. Like around that size, because
So it's safe to say you might have. It's safe to say you might have had a sandwich or two out.
That's I was just like finding out about things. I was did the 40-day fast, like you said. I was out there exercising. Pounds just started coming out.
Wow.
So I had already transitioned into like the vegan lifestyle, but you know, when I heard about the 40, I was like, oh, this sounds like more what I want to do. Anyway, so I did that. I ordered, I think, the chemiluminescence, and I might have had some ocean steak too at the time.
Bro, when I seen how you was moving, you started to inspire me.
Man, that's good, man.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. You started to inspire me as if the 40-day was your plan, and I was trying to figure, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand what keeps me awake at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my drive. When I see that people is, you know, like the benefit, when I see the benefit, that pushed me further. Like, oh, okay, so we can do this. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? And each person.
Because we've been doing it like off and on, like, and so now I just like came up with the one that we just had, and I've been telling my mama and like her friends and stuff about it. So I'm trying to get them on. I said I'm about to do another one. But anytime I do it, I be trying to gather as many people as I can to do it, like, so they can all get the same effects. Right.
So let me ask you this: as somebody that has done the more strict version of the 40-day fast, where you have the 5 different, you know, dietary plans every 8 days, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Versus the newer relaxed version, you know, vitamin D, K, 60 and 60, morning light, 13 and 7. Like, which one do you think is easier?
So for me, they not that much different, because like I already like you know.
Let me stop you right there. I just was explaining to somebody yesterday, that the 13 and 7 is still the same old 40-day, because what I did was exactly what I did was I just took the 16 hours from the 8 and 8 and reduced it down to make it easier to 13, give people a little bit more wiggle room. And then I took the 8 hours of eating and I did make that a little stricter. I put that from 8 hours of eating to 7 hours or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's based on the same 8-8-8 plan, because you only get 24 hours in a day. Time management and critical thinking are probably the 2 most undertaught subjects in our entire global society.
Etymology of photography is the right with light. Big Willie, well I am, type of height, get it? Do you understand what footage is? Skin on tree trunks with visual acoustics is. What it mean to own your image and likeness exclusive is? That's your light, clueless kid in the ruthless biz. The image is your soul, the likeness is your swag, and there's no way I trade that for a bag. Your soul is electromagnetic fields. Your voice is the specific frequency it yields. Encoding your thoughts, encoding your emotion. When those waves collapse, the culture's your commotion. Keep your guns, your squeeze proper. Culture vultures is cowards and eavesdroppers. The digital age, we clearly got it labels. Sound becoming light as the periodic table.
Electromagnetic waves.
Diabetes is an enormous problem globally and in the United States. 420 million people in the world have diabetes. Approximately a third of the U.S. population has or is at risk for developing diabetes. The chronic complications involve almost every organ. It's the leading cause of blindness in the United States. It's the leading cause of kidney failure. It's the major contributor to heart disease. And if you add all of these things together, diabetes, either directly or indirectly, is probably the second or third most important cause of death in the United States. We need to make advances in the treatment of diabetes.
This one,
Insulin is the product of normal beta cells. If you had normal beta cells, you'd never need to take insulin or drugs that made you secrete more insulin. So we're trying to simply regrow beta cells in people who have type 1 or type 2 diabetes. 2 or 3 years ago, we identified Harmine as a new class of drugs that could make beta cells regenerate at low levels. In this study, we identified a second class of drugs called TGF-beta superfamily inhibitors that's able to induce human beta cells to replicate at rapid rates when given in combination with Harmine. And in terms of the actual rates of replication, adult human beta cells replicate at a rate of about 0.2% per day. That's pretty much the same as nothing. With Harmine, we were able to get that up to about 2% per day. And now with a combination of Harmine plus TGF-beta superfamily inhibitors, we can get that rate up to around 5 to 8% per day. And in some of the pancreatic beta cell preparations we got, it was as high as 15 or 18%. The importance of the study is that it applies to everybody with diabetes, all 30 million people in the United States, whether it's type 1 or type 2, and all 420 million people in the world. 2.5 years ago, we had this many drugs that could make human beta cells regenerate. Now we have actually about 5 or 6 different combinations of drugs that can make human beta cells regenerate at rapid rates. So just in 3 years, we've gone from 0 to 5 to 8%. I would say that over the next few years, this will be translatable to human beings.
Rather tigers, no that's how I'm on it.
Lock my body, can't trap my mind. Easily explain why we adapt to crime. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it.
But that line, God, enormous, to live dormant. That's how we on it. Living the American dream with a vengeance. I'm gonna get it. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get it.
And you gotta understand the reason, right? Why does that guy think like that? Right? How do you arrive at that point? You gotta also look at that. You have to look at that. You gotta look at the environments and places we live in and how things are set up and how things are structured and how we're always the last on the totem pole, even from our schooling to our roads to, everything that all the obstacles that's placed in front of us, even our living conditions. We live in a project. Someone lives here, 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 and here. You have to deal with all these different type of personalities.
Guess how much of pancreas tissue actually produces insulin?
Come on, it's math. It's math tonight. Percentage, folks, how much?
50.
No.
5.
Yes. The
Rather diagnose live. That's how we on it. Lock my body, can't trap my mind. Easily explain why we adapt to crime. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it.
But that line, God, enormous, live dormant. That's how we on it. Living the American dream with a vengeance. I'm gonna get it. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get it.
And you gotta understand the reason, right? Why does that guy think like that? Right? How do you arrive at that point? You gotta also look at that. You have to look at that. You gotta look at the environments and places we live in, and how things are set up, and how things are structured, and how we're always the last on the totem pole, even from our schooling to our roads to, everything that all the obstacles that's placed in front of us, even our living condition. You live in a project, someone lives here, 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 and here. You have to deal with all these different type of personalities.
That's how the poisons get neutralized. That's how the poisons get neutralized. That's how the poisons get neutralized. That was all you. What we do about these kids? Stop for these kids, look. Don't wear everything in the refrigerator. Get you out. They gotta eat. What made you get here? See, I think that's right. Nobody loves God.
And we all want to be loved. But before love is respect. Respect come from discipline. Discipline come from pain and suffering. You ain't been through nothing. So you just trying to save face instead of respect. Because you can't save up respect. Respect is not given. You have to spend time paying attention, balancing your interests to earn respect. That's how we heal. That's how we heal with love. Love is loyalty. I'm the American healer. Dr.
That's how we on it. Lock my body, can't trap my mind. Easily explain why we adapt to crime. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it.
But that line, God, enormous, live dormant. That's how we on it. Living the American dream with a vengeance. I'm gonna get it. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get it.
And you gotta understand the reason, right? Why does that guy think like that? Right? How do you arrive at that point? You gotta also look at that. You have to look at that. You got to look at the environments and places we live in, and how things are set up, and how things are structured, and how we always the last on the totem pole, even from our schooling to our roads to, everything that all the obstacles that's placed in front of us, even our living condition. You live in a project, someone lives here, 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 and here. You have to deal with all these different type of personalities.
What you want to do for love? You've tried everything, but you won't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do.
Make me do for love what I would not do.
Right on, right on.
So we got another 20 minutes. Family in the chat. You can go, like I said, Enqi.com to grab some stuff. Make sure you refresh your payment screen. Go to Patreon.com.
Let me check the chat out and see if any questions came through.
It's not just the diabetes curriculum and the documentary that's at Patreon.com. I have a 10-year catalog that's there. I have 3 other full courses, including one college level biochemistry course that is 69 weeks.
Wow.
So So it's
So where
it's a
can we
lot.
find this Blue Magic?
The Blue Magic is at Enqi.com, and remember to refresh your payment screen. That's where the Blue Magic is.
So it's Enqi.com. All right, www.enqi.com.
Every jar of Blue Magic, I have a special attachment to it. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad, he was a part of that Harlem movement with all the dope boys. You know what I'm saying? So me selling Blue Magic now, but the Blue Magic heals people as opposed to the dope in the 70s. It's a part, you know what I'm saying? It's a part of like generation.
I would hope so.
I don't know. Everybody doesn't believe in that kind of stuff, but for me, it's like setting something straight. That we
help heal back.
Yeah. So he'll pay back some of that karma.
Right. Awesome.
All right.
Can't wait to put my order in.
All right, hold on. Let me put this down real.
So the young man, that you had on the documentary is how much pounds did he weigh? Okay.
Well,
go ahead.
He wound up losing about 200.
And he went down to what?
Because he was about 390, and then he went up, I believe, before he came down. So I think he came down to somewhere around 200. That was his smallest. He didn't stay in that small, but I think that was his smallest. He lost about 200 pounds.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, and he's not like I got a lot of guys that lost like between 50 and 150 pounds. It's because once you learn how to lose the first, like, I'm not going to say the first 10, I would say like the second 10, you know what I'm saying? That once you learn how to lose that second 10, 20 pounds, you could lose 1,000,000 pounds because it's just a matter of continuing to do those same things that you already learned, you know what I'm saying? Just like, but let me, we got 15 minutes, so don't say no questions. Let's try to do this real quick before because you'll say a question, then it'll be over.
Okay. All right.
Let's try to hit this real quick to share screen one time for the one time. Then we're going to get up out of here on this kelp real quick. Now, there's two reasons that I have this up. I haven't really told anybody, like, so you're getting a few things exclusive here that I haven't shared anywhere else, but there's a reason why, and people aren't going to know the reason I have this up until September 11th. But there's another reason why I'm talking about kelp that's very important to what it is that we're doing. Now, the other reason, the second reason, is because, as usual, I'm in trouble with people because people spend a lot of money on kombucha. Kombucha makes a lot of money. So when asked about kombucha, I give unfavorable, I'm not a kombucha fan. People who are in the business of kombucha, people got very upset about it. But kombucha is a seaweed; it's part of the kelp family, so it's a part of what I do. But anyway, so when you look at this 6 species of kelp, you see this one down here in the left-hand corner down here.
Right.
This is called kombu. Kombu is the you see what it says, Saturina japonica, basically Japanese kelp, because kombu is the Japanese word for kelp, and the Japanese word for tea is cha. So the original kombucha is kelp tea. That was the original kombucha. Now, where the controversy comes in is because when you look up kombucha, all of the benefits that you hear online, or most of the benefits that you hear associated online with kombucha, like, there's 2 sets of benefits, if I'm gonna be all the way honest. There's one set of benefits that they associate with kombucha, and they link it to like the older stories of the history in Japan and the old, they live long age in Japan, and That has to do with kelp tea.
Yeah.
All the story stuff has to do with kelp tea. When you hear benefits of kombucha and they talk about probiotics and stuff like that, that is more of the new stuff because they feel like bacteria is bacteria is bacteria. So any kind of bacteria is a benefit to your probiotics. And yeah, I beg to differ. So the new kombucha is made from, so what they did with the kombucha, just so that we're on the same page, the way they made this kombucha, it wasn't like a regular tea where you just put the tea inside the water, hot water. It was similar to like the Jamaican drinks where they ferment, they got the fermented roots drinks. So it was like a fermented kelp, but they drunk it hot. So that's where the tea came from. So now what they did, when they commercialized the kombucha, though, here's where the problem comes in. When they commercialized it, what they did was they took out the kelp altogether and just replaced the kelp with sugar. And then instead of letting the actual bacteria from the kelp break down the kelp, because they removed the kelp, you no longer have the bacteria species that lives inside and on the kelp. So now they bring in their own bacteria and yeast, and with no kelp, they bringing in sugar. So now the new thing that we call kombucha that y'all buying in the supermarket and all these places, it's nothing like the original kombucha. There's no kelp. There's no original kelp bacteria to ferment the kelp. They're using plain domino sugar and just random bacteria and yeast. So when you look up when you look up kombucha, especially for the people that want to get into the business of selling it, the way you purchase it is you buy a SCOBY. And the SCOBY is basically a little brick. It looks like a soap pad, but it's made out of like snot. It's basically scum. It's bacteria and yeast. And they in the process of, so what bacteria and yeast do is they'll eat something and they vomit and piss, and all of their excretions is what, the new thing is. So like, for instance, apple cider vinegar, they take an apple and they load it up with bacteria and yeast. The bacteria and yeast eat the apple, they piss, they shit, they vomit, and then people drink the piss, shit, and vomit of the bacteria called apple cider vinegar as a health product. Very similar kind of thinking that goes along with these goofball niggas in the kombucha. They're getting bacteria and yeast, and they're adding sugar and water to it, and they're calling it a health program, but it's not. Okay. This is what the SCOBY actually looks like when you purchase a SCOBY. So most people, if they knew that this was the item, like most people would not drink kombucha if they knew that this was kombucha. If they knew that when you bought a 16-ounce bottle of kombucha, you got this, literally this patty right here mixed with water in your kombucha, nobody would buy kombucha. But that's what you're getting. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like, it's not funny because we're going from the milk pus to the kombucha pus. And, so I'm just not a fan. And, I try to, put my 2 cents in on it. And, a lot of people attack me like they do for the rest of the stuff with the boss and all that stuff. But this was a matter of, so I'm not even going to go into the Sabi anger, because I got the Sabi folks on me, because I told folks that Dr. Sabi did recommend hybrids. It's a fact. But yeah, we'll get to it. I guess when we come back, we'll start with the Sabi madness or the kombucha, however we want to do it. However we want to stick that gun out the passenger side window, we get in it.
So we would definitely have to order sea kelp if we want to get anything close to bamboo, we need to be getting it in a kelp and to be.
You're missing too many slides
It
to try
has
to.
to be this.
You're missing too many
Okay.
slides.
All right.
Hit the share screen one more time. Yeah, hit the share screen one more time.
Now ask that question right now. Okay. I got you. Because I'm trying to figure out how could I get the right kombucha.
There is no right kombucha.
You know,
that's there's no right kombucha. Kombucha is a fungus bacteria. Like there's no right one. The right one is to not get it.
Okay.
But no, this right here is just me showing a little, just a little bit for the curiosity of the audience. Because I know whenever you start pushing people around, they always want to know what gave you authority to, whatever. Hit the share screen one time before we get out of here.
Okay.
Man. So, it's definitely more than just a business. It's something I do with my children. We all participate. Like I said, we can talk about it more next time. I just wanted to show what it looks like when you're really out there. That's what the canvas looks like underwater. When you was asking me earlier, like nothing grow off the rock, that's how it grows on the rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, he just gonna be here and go in the mall. Because I was like, I keep hearing, the basic shit. And I'm like, this motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
And then he just knows how to be a public relation type of motherfucker to shoot a video where he passing out money and doing all kind of, come on, man.
He learned from, he took all the smart shit that you guys did.
Fuck.
And you're right, because in the heat of battle, he don't fucking miss. Back against the wall, he don't miss. I mean, that motherfucker.
In the heat of battle.
So, yeah.
That's you going sea moss hunting. Okay, harvesting.
With
sea moss harvesting.
So it's no excuse like, I got children. I got 5 babies I raised by myself. Their mama's a deadbeat. If I can't take my babies with me, I can't go. So it's no excuse. We could do this. We could live this lifestyle. We could take control. And the beauty of it is the things that we need to do to change our health also will change our economy. So it's bags attached to this shit.
Right.
Shout out to Do the Knowledge Radio. I definitely want to shout you guys out for having me on the platform, the podcast, sharing this information, because that's the craziest thing. Like, I did a show on Side of the Platform, and, so many people was like, nigga, you did a show with Lord Voldemort? Like, how did you do a show with Count Dracula? Like, bro, he's trying to help me share the information. I got a lot of friends and family that got a lot of opinions on shit, but they're not on the front line trying to help me share this information. I'm like,
right.
It's time to strap
So
up
who
your
is
boots.
Count Dracula?
No, that's just
Who
how
might
they
Count
was.
Dracula be?
That's just how they was addressing the
okay.
But I'm like, nah, man. Anybody that's trying to help me get this information to the people, man, like that's what time it is right now.
Well, you're always welcome here on Real Radio Talk. You are always welcome.
Be back.
I love the information that you have.
I look forward to that.
Yes, you have to come back often. Yes, we need you often, Dr. Enqi, for real.
Like
because health and wellness is right down my alley.
Or maybe weekly, or maybe like twice a month.
Health and wellness is right down my alley.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We could do like weekly
What
or
you
twice.
saying?
Maybe we could do like a set, 2 days a month, 4 days a month, something like that.
So when you say
What'd you say?
a week,
No, I'm
One
saying
day
like
a week.
yeah, or maybe twice a month, depending
One
on.
day a week. Okay. All right, one day a week.
One
And
day.
and what
But
day
we
is that?
yeah,
What day would you like that to be?
we do
A
one day a week,
Thursday, something like that.
2 hours. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
What day is
I
good
don't
for
know. We
you?
gotta figure out with knowledge. We gotta figure that out offline with knowledge.
Yeah, there you go.
Knowledge.
Okay.
Because he got your schedule.
And you spend the same time and everything. Yeah.
Knowledge.
Yeah, I would definitely, love to see you there like that because, yeah, I mean, I'm sure knowledge probably wouldn't have a problem with that because it is all about spreading the awareness and giving the information to the ones that's ready to receive it.
Oh, no, trust
Health
me.
and wellness is across the
No.
board, and if you have information,
Knowledge has no problem.
need you to bring it.
Yeah, knowledge will work me to the bone. He has no problem with that. Trust me. Knowledge will line up like 7 of these.
Yeah, because when he asked me, I was like, yes, because when he asked me, I was like, of course, anything dealing with health and wellness, how could I say no? And that's, I live my life around trying to remain healthy and keep the wellness of once a week.
Let's lock it in. So we got it locked in.
I would say yes, just as information is.
Look how she locking
and
me
I know
in.
you have the right information.
When I get back, I'm gonna start locking y'all.
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
Next class, I'm gonna start putting obligations and shit on people. Foods they can't eat no more. Shit they gotta start doing. Shit you gotta stop doing. They're gonna be like, get this nigga, don't bring Enqi back.
No problem.
Hell no, Enqi.
No problem. You laughing? That's no problem.
Peace to the family.
No, that's what we need. See questions that the people were asking, right? So we want it. We're not running from it. We want it.
Especially Sister Yaya. Good questions. We needed that. So I'm out of here.
Yeah, Sheru, he definitely came in with dialogue. Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love.
Give thanks for tuning in to another Real Radio Show. Peace and love.
Boom.
Love and gratitude. See you Monday.